Pre-89. Here's our 57 we were talking of before, so these guys will have seen the grid position as posted down on the dummy grid where they assemble. I've seen where they have their placing and know what position to choose as they are painted on the road here on the start line. That exercise was only done on Wednesday of this week. The meeting was on Tuesday and the boys were painting the street on Wednesday, so there it is, all set up for a race meeting. It's there for the rest of the year, of course, but it just has the ability to fade away as our Suzuki Clark of the course. This fantastic new Swift Sport. What a beautiful new vehicle, brand new from Suzuki from ground up. Everything's new. Check it out. In fact, I firmly recommend you do. Yes, you're going to say, but I don't have one of those kind of vehicles. No, you may not do, but look at what the latest of technology doing. What they call the platform now. It's got a platform right through it. Once upon a time, we'd call it a chassis, but if you get an idea of how they build a sidecar, of course, it's built as a platform, and this is exactly what the technology being used now in this beautiful new Suzuki Swift Sport, so an opportunity to look out for it. So brand new and about to be launched officially in New Zealand in February, and available from your favourite Suzuki dealer at www.suzuki.co.nz as we get it fired up for Lindsay Tate and Associates in our Cemetery Circuit race number 1 for 2017 and our Post Classics pre-1989. And great to hear the Classic Register and the Post-Classic fraternities have come together now as one identity in New Zealand. They're effectively one club, and it's an opportunity to have them all at one meeting now. And of course, so the Classic Festival that's been held at Pukekohe for many weekends, and the first weekend of February has now become effectively a one-off event incorporating classics and post-classic together. So effectively that will now be the undisputed king of post-classic and classic racing. So good to see. Welcoming co-commentator Spider Staples. Join us, Spider. You're on live, loud and proud as we kick off with our first race, and already the 47 of Glenn Scatchell, I note. And the lap times that Glenn hit last year did a 51. That's an incredible time for a post-classic bike, only a 55 in the practice session here earlier today, but doesn't matter about what time you're doing, it's more the fact you're staying in front of the field. And he sits on maximum points as well, having done the series to date and won every race and all the qualifying. So great start. Spider, is that the rain gone for the day?
No, she's going to get wet. There's 10 mil an hour predicted for the next few hours. I hate to be a killjoy, but you can see it coming over. The good thing was it was damp in the first part of the practice, so everyone learned they were human. I've seen this before. You get wet during the day, everyone's faster than the trackers, but people have settled down a bit, they know it's going to rain. We just hope we get time to change the tyres. But Glenn Scatchell absolutely on fire, just dominant, set a lap record at Manfield last weekend on this same bike, the 47, the Yamaha powered Italian chassis promoter, the YB8. Finn Harmon there on the 405 machine, the young lad from Carterton in the wire wrapper, on fire, being chased by FZR 1000, number 4 of Paul Pavletich. But I think Finn Harmon's been around a bit longer in racing in later years. Paul Pav's been around for 100 years, but on the same token, young Finn Harmon's race fit at the moment, and he's going to ride a nimble bike round here as we see them going down the back straight there. The big FZR 1000, does it gobble up the 405 machine of Finn Harmon? No, it doesn't. So that's how it sits at the moment right now on the the last lap going through. It was, we've got a changing over screen here, so we've got the bottom half of the field. Hopefully we can get that change. It was Glenn Scatchell, Finn Harmon, Paul Pavletich, Mac Eggleton, S.J. Cavell, Dean Bentley, Tony Sklinas, Mark Hay, Mark Robinson and Chris McBeacon from Invercargill. He'll be waiting for the wet.
All right, there we go, 47 and the flying Glenn Scatchell out to ignite the field. Look at the margin he's got on this already. Blitzing material. Go back to the 405 of Finn Harmon, then looking out for number 4 this time, Paul Pavletich. And very good third place. Then go to 583 then for Matt Eggleton. Look back to the 11. Out there of Dean Bentley, only qualified in 12th place. And look at that from Dean there already. That is a top 5 performance, top 5 from Dean Bentley. It goes to show again, you don't give us away as much on the smaller bike on the streets of Whanganui as you do on the big tracks like Taupo and Manfield. So come back to this place and it's almost like as if Junior can sometimes be called an advantage because it's light, it's nimble, it accelerates, it handles. So great to see our lightweight bike. So Finn Harmon wasn't with us at rounds 1 and round 2, so not so much a series update here today, but a Whanganui update.
Here we go, looking for the pass on the inside of Roberts Island. Robert Holden corner. Paul Pavletich used the drive out of the corner but didn't quite get these on the tail going through the trade zone corner and coming up towards the overhead bridge. So it is 47 in the front, 405, but the big 1000cc, lines him up on the overhead bridge. Can he get the drive? He's got to sit this thing up, get the drive down the front straight. Well, I tell you what, Finn's opening up the gap there, so I think it'll happen if anywhere through that Suzuki corner. If anywhere, he's going to close up there. Paul Pavletich will get the drive out of turn 2 here at the Cemetery Circuit for the 2017 Suzuki Series.
Lindsay Tate and Associates, proud to be sponsors of our pre-1989 classics, and although we've got the odd Norden or older 60s come 70s model, most of them are the Japanese-dominated pre-89 era of post-classic racing, and the Buell and the Harleys and the other bikes make the lineup as well, so it takes beers to make them along with the best from the Japanese manufacturers. And there it is, the number 47 pulling the wheelie the full length of the start stroke for the flying 47 of Glenn Scatchell, holding his own, and certainly the number 1 position under no threat whatsoever for the Webster Racing. Beautiful by Motor, and that fight for second, 405, and looking at Paul Pav only having done the second round. He's waiting to his touch. He won the Classic Series in 2017. He won the Auckland Motorcycle Club Post Classic Series in 2017. But, well, at this stage, still only sitting back there in 3rd place on the OWO1. He said the bike needed a little bit of a freshen up, and that's exactly what he's given it over the last few weeks. So fresh from win after win after win. He's got a fresh motor and ready to go.
Looking for this battle. Obviously, Glenn Scatchell has cleared out the front on that beautiful motor. That's tightening up the second place. There's just 30 thousandths of a second, 3/100ths of a second between 405 Finn Harman from Carterton and Paul Pavletich from Auckland. Finn had his leathers stolen the other week down in Carterton. They put the word out on Facebook and out on the town. They were returned in the rubbish bag. So somebody rich enough to have a rubbish bag stole his leathers, but good to see him got his leathers back, and he certainly is on fire. Those bikes are around half a bike length apart, coming on towards the overhead. In fact, now Paul Pavletich has got through there. He must have done it at Roberts Island. That would have been the place to pass.
That's a lovely 750, that one for sure, the Ducati Finn Harman. That's a fantastic ride. I'll tell you what, going down that straight, not giving away too much again behind the OWO1. I wouldn't be surprised, Spider, if maybe it was a little bit of a glitch, you know, could have been a misgear or something like that, because when you look at them down the end of that straight, you say there's nothing between them. Finn Harman with all the ability and a nice bike to maybe squeeze back on that inside, so look out for the bike battle going on the bike for second. Don't worry about first. Glenn Scatchell smoked them. Lap record holder here last year, lap record holder at Manfield last weekend, so the man winning them and grilling them all the way to the finish line is Glenn Scatchell, but a great fight on for second place. At this stage is the great Superman of Paul Pavletich holds on to that second place ahead of Finn Harman, who's a hot flying 4th fastest in qualifying, but I tell you what, out on the track, he's a scorching 3rd place at the moment.
Track temperature's quite cool today. We might see some lap records early on. I don't know whether the wind's going to play. 33.7. Now here are the lappers. Lapper 39, we're coming across that. That's tightened up this battle for second place. The white flag is out, and it's the final lap of the first race of the 2017 Suzuki Series at Whanganui into turn 1. Paul Pavletich, a bike length back to Finn Harman. We go and look on the big screen. In fact, the big screen's better to look at over the road than a little TV down here, but Glenn Scatchell is probably right through the S's by now, absolutely flying. Lindsay Tate and Associates, post-classics, pre-89. Good to see Terry Galway out there in Norden. No classics this year, so I'll just ride it in pre-89.
We have got 2 number 11s out on the track as we watch our Kiwi Live video stream at the moment. The number 11 on the screen of Tim Gooden here on the Buell, but the other number 11, of course, in the hands of the man running second at this stage in our junior class, and Dean Bentley, who's done a great effort. I think pretty sure Dean's in front on the overall points. We'll check that out shortly, but here's the other number 11 with Tim Gooden at the moment on the Buell out there. 66.4, here we go, the 405, the battle all the way through, all the way as we watch the finish line. Yes, Harman on the outside, but it was the number 4. Glenn Scatchell, 47, might have taken a win, but the 4 of Superman, Paul Pavletich, coming home and taking a very good second place there, going back to Tin Harman, Matt Eggleton, SK. I tell you what, I'm looking out for the little 125, and here he comes, 57 on the Pirelli Overbridge, 57 and flying, great ride from Mark Robinson, qualified 6th fastest on the little 125 when it came to the race itself, though. Well, in fact, we'll go to the senior points there. It was 102 versus 82, so no, not yet. Spider was only a 14-point buffer there, so not enough points yet. In fact, you'll need both races. There's the 818 just being brought in from recovery. If we go to our junior points, remembering, of course, each of those classes are split. So Dean Bentley on 98, Scott Finlay on 92.
Righty-ho, folks, this is a not a new class, but not an existing class. What they identified in the Bears racing was fine, but with the superbikes and the new classes going towards super stock, and also the Formula 2, there was a few of the slower riders in these classes that they needed to get off the main field and push them into a class that was more managed for, lined up for lap times. So that's where they've had the merge of Formula Sports and Bears. That is race 2, an 8-lap race. All the races today are 8-lap with the exception of the Robert Holden Memorial and the Formula 1 Sidecars race 2. Oh, sorry, we've got the Gixxer Cups here, which is 6-lappers as well. But trying to get as much racing in now, of course, before the rain comes in, it'll slow things down in terms of lap times. Also expect a little bit more time delays because it just does take its toll a little bit more. But everyone's had pretty much a wet practice, or at least on a damp track, so they will be aware of what to look out for and what to like. But it's a long day at the cemetery circuit here as we line up for the second race.
Q West boat builders extraordinaire, proud to be building them for Whanganui. You see them on the harbours of Hauraki and Auckland and tugboats around our ports of the country. Quality Q West boats made right here in Whanganui. Q West boat builders sponsoring our Bears Formula Sport racing. 21 Eddie Kattenberg, fastest qualifier, followed by Steve Bridge. Then go to Zarin Wiki, so good effort for Zarin out there. Then go to local man Dwayne Bishop. Mark Perry back again, the Palmerston North flyer out of the advanced Penland Spray team from Palmerston North. Ahead is Sean Manson, John Oliver, Nick Campenhort, Jacob Stroud and Dave Casson. They're your top 10 to fly, and of course a whole different picture when it comes to junior and senior. If you look at Zarin Wiki, Zarin back there in 3rd place, but he's the first junior bike, then dropped down to 7th with John Oliver on the 2nd junior bike, Jacob Stroud on one as well in 9th place. So here we are with our QS boat builders and our Bears Formula Sport class, new class effectively with our Bears bikes in there and some of those Formula bikes in there. You may start to see a lap record getting a bit of a nudge in this one, but we've generally seen that it's still been Bears bikes that have dominated the landscape in this racing. But here it is with Eddie Kattenberg, Steve Bridge under starters orders, and one of the things that the officials have been jumping on hard this year has been false starts. I don't expect any here today because they've been really honing down on those jump starts at the earlier events, and if you've got them out of the way, everybody knows the officials aren't mucking around, so anybody that anticipates it will get the penalty. Normally it comes out, if you're here on the start finish, you may see a board coming out with the rider's name, and generally a 20-second penalty is taken. What that means is the race still continues and the rider still holds their position, but after the race is finished, 20 seconds get removed from their time. Could mean that if you've won the race by 24 seconds, which I've seen happen before, and you've jumped the start, you've only won it by 4 seconds, so you've still won the race. So it's a 20 seconds. It's not a placing timing, but on the other hand, in a tightly contested field, you could drop anything from 8 to 10 places. So it's a time penalty. Anybody jumping the starts, one of the things to be put into the fairness of this event for this year. All right, here we go. 294 for Steve Bridge, looking at Steve out there nice to see Dwayne Bishop in behind him. Keen to watch you out to all triple nine, hugging the safety wall coming right around here over the overbridge. So I tell you what, that was not looking too tidy there for Dave Casson. Might have qualified in 10th, but I tell you what, well back after that, a few riders to get up on the inside. Terry Galway has joined this lineup as well, but it's Steve Bridge, Dwayne Bishop, along with that 18 of Zarin Wiki. Eddie Kattenberg might have been fastest qualifier. He's back and forth ahead of Mark Perry. Dave Casson, in fact, he still held the 6th place. Good effort for him, even though he overswept here on the Pirelli overbridge. So great to watch out there as we see the battle going on. And Zarin Wiki on that little F2 bike doing a good job out there, Spider.
Oh yeah, massive. We've had a change of position at the front. I thought I saw them going into turn 1, and they did change. I think Dwayne Bishop went up on the inside on the 211 bike, and Steve Bridge was just put back there. Big V4 Aprilia versus the V-twin. Steve Bridge is the 21st all-time winner at the circuit. He's had 10 win, 15 second places, a number of third places. He'll know his way around this place, but I think it's that big V4 with Dwayne Bishop there that's going to do the job so far at the moment. So Dwayne Bishop, Steve Bridge, Zarin Wiki, Eddie Kattenberg, and the screen disappears. Sorry folks, it does scroll over to see who's the next, the second part of the field. Jeff Rogerson's in there in 19th place. You'll see him going around. He's got a long ginger beard, a bit like ZZ Top. His first time at the cemetery circuit. He puts a sock over it, or a sock without the hole in it, the bottom, or with a hole in it I should say, and that stops him getting helmet hair, I guess you call it. So Bears Racing and Sports Bikes here looking out to Roberts Island. I think they've gone through Roberts Island. Indeed they have. It was Dwayne Bishop on 211, and Eddie Kattenberg's out there as well, but Steve Bridge has actually closed that gap, I'm sure, in the last lap there, Neil Ritchie.
Yeah, great to watch. There we go. Dwayne Bishop, bring it on. The Whanganui local man, Dwayne Bishop, out to fly. He's got a new Bears bike this year as well. Wasn't happy with his previous Aprilia, and he's picked up the race pace to pick up a new bike, and courtesy of Mitre 10 Mega, he's starting to put in some Mega performance as well. Steve Bridge, the legend, is back. Not with us here last year, out with injury for a long time in our sport. going very well, and the fastest time as well at 53.50. So good effort there now from Steve Bridge. Might be the fastest, but he's not the first at this stage. Qualifying matters when you're the fastest, but racing matters the most when you're in first place. So great to watch out there. A good race at the moment by the 294 Steve Bridge and the 211 of local man Dwayne Bishop. Aprilia versus Ducati at the moment in the Bears battle. Speaking about Bears as well, look for Nick Kempenhort, the Envy Motorcycles man, on the big Husqvarna Motard. So you'll find the big upright motocross bike in there as well. So something a little different, but it's a Bears bike. It's Husqvarna out of the Swedish factory. But there we go, Mitre 10 Mega, and Dwayne Bishop, Steve Bridge back here to 18, and Zarin doing the good work there on the Triumph 675, Zarin Wiki. So Zarin on full flight at the moment. Check out the Bears Junior bike 675. There goes Nick Kempenhort, and the number 10 out there to watch at the moment, young Jacob Strauss on the Kramer motorcycle machine. That's the German bike. So we've got a German machine in there, fits into the Bears category, and only on a smaller 250 KTM engine as well. So a German frame and an Austrian engine. It's got to be Bears.
Yeah, I think it's a 690 engine, that single KTM.
Sorry, yes.
To be Formula 3, but it's an absolute work of art. And Radar Cullen, long-time mechanic from Australia, came over last weekend for Manfield. They had a problem with the forks. He'd already taken it back the weekend before to us. He stayed for an extra day and forks sorted out. It's cut down.
Yeah, great to see, great to see. So well done getting the bike sorted out. So look out for him, folks, out there. The Stroud legacy lives on. Jesse's too young, but he has raced at the other circuit. So it's older son Jacob has his birthday coming up in the next few days, if I remember rightly. I think he's a January birthday boy like his father. There we go to 196 in the action as well. So Nick Kempenhort qualified in 8th place. So looking to be out there in the top slots at this stage. So good work by Nick as he keeps it upright and it keeps out there at this stage in 9th place. Jacob Stroud behind him, David Casson back there, Richard Markham Barrett then holding on to the placing. QS Boat Builders in our new class for Formula Sport Bears combined as we bring on the good times with our Suzuki Series and race number 2 here at the moment. So looking out for the battles as we go 211 Dwayne Bishop from 294 and Steve Bridge, 2 long-time campaigners, and look at it, tell you what, 3 bike links in it, 3 bike links in it, nothing for those guys as they whiz down Ridgeway Street here and head towards turn number 1 here at the legendary Cemetery Circuit. Nice fight going on. In fact, there's a couple of waves. There's a 1-2, then a 3-4, then a 5-6, 7, 8, 9, back to Nick Kempenhort, and 10 here. Here's Jacob Stroud. Here's Jacob on the 690 as Spider is updated. I'm thinking of the other little bike. That's got the 250, so that's got the 690 engine on board. So Jacob Stroud getting in some excellent race time here at Whanganui, a track he's not ridden a lot actually. So therefore a newbie on the block will be oh so vital. Spider's got his eyes in the ears with a binocular read on what's been going on here out and about. It's a Cemetery Circuit with Suzuki, a way of life.
I'm trying to look down to that start finish line. There's a blackboard there with some chalk in there. It's either for a jump start or a black flag. I thought I saw the jet black flag coming out, but right now there's a beautiful row of Suzuki flags in the way there. And no, they've taken away that black flag, so the issue must be sorted. So anyway, we'll try and keep you updated on that today.
Well, there we go. In fact, Eddie Kattenberg has moved up into 3rd place. Eddie, Fast Eddie Bikes, the man from Wonga in Hawke's Bay, is now taking that 3rd place. So that's pushed Zarin back to 4th place. So nice to watch out there. Dwayne Bishop, Steve Bridge, Eddie Kattenberg, Zarin Wiki ahead of Mark Perry, ahead of Jason Lamb, John Oliver. Mark Perry lacking a little bit of race time. The brand new Aprilia out there as well. So change your motorcycle for him. It's normally a change up, would normally be a step forward, but on this occasion for Mark Perry, just a little step back. I'll put that down to a little bit less experienced as we watch out for it at the moment. So Eddie Kattenberg might have been fastest qualifier. He was back and forth. He's now promoted to 3rd place, but it's all on at the moment. The Dwayne and Steve show out to watch on the stage as we rock on through. Maybe a flag coming. I think it's going to be a white flag. Yes, it is. White flag and 1 lap to go, Spider.
Yeah, all right, now it's all about people lapping. There's 2 of them. They came across right in turn 1 here at the Cemetery Circuit. So, and down towards that short straight that is separating the bikes. In fact, I think as they go into turn 2, between 211 Dwayne Bishop and 294 Steve Bridge, there was a lapper. He gets past there, and they're going in towards the Suzuki corner. There's about a 80-metre gap between the 2 of them. I don't think Steve Bridge can come back from this unless Dwayne Bishop gets balked by a lapper. And the same thing can happen as we've just seen with 294 Steve Bridge. 3 years ago since he got run over on the overhead bridge. Steve Bridge got run over on the overhead, smashed both his legs. He spent 3 years recovering surgery after surgery, and man, he is back here in fine form. 10 wins already at the Cemetery Circuit. We've still got a full day to go. They come to the overhead bridge. Dwayne Bishop on still 11 on the Mitre 10 Mega, takes the checkered flag, and then it is Steve Bridge on 294 Legend back to the Cemetery Circuit. Steve Bridge, 21 on the all-time winners of about 700 podiums, and there is Jnr Snr. He's been chased to the flag by Eddie Kittenberg. Is he going to get it? Oh. No, there was 2 bike lengths between first and second there. We got a yellow there, some bikes going ahead.
In fact, that's looking better than it was before when you first pointed out. Yes, you did right, it is on the rain radar, and that's where we take our predictions from these days. It's not just the locals putting their thumb up in the air and saying nah or yeah, but followed then by 78 down here, looking out. Well, they all start nicely, which is good to see.
I think it's Hamish Tarr there.
33 to do. 30. This is the Scott Dowman bike, and they're beautiful. Yes, indeed, courtesy of Dowman Contracting and the local team. Man, they've got themselves a big rig now. They've got a Mack truck for a pit truck. They're a real team now, Spider. You want to see it, check it out. The boys have apologised for the lack of facilities in there, but there is a couch. There is a couch in the back of the truck, so they've got the basics.
I'll tell you what, there's 4 Dowmans racing here today. I don't know whether they're related. I know there's Scott and Ben, and there's also Peter and... there's another Dowman as well, James maybe. Was he racing or not? I'm not sure, but there was 4 at the other weekends and that, and I don't know whether they're related. They're all Whanganui.
Yeah, they're Whanganui.
Probably interbred somewhere.
Ooh, excuse me, you can say that you were from here.
Yeah, I escaped. But I'm back every year for the Cemetery Circuit, my 52nd Cemetery Circuit.
Well done, Spider.
I was born at a very early age. Right, the red flag walks off. They are under starters orders now. Anyone jumping the start gets a 20-second penalty. They're monitoring it a little bit better this year. I believe they've got cameras and an official judge there, so they're off down to turn 1 here for the first of the Formula 2 races. Going into turn 1, who's he going to be lead? Looks like... Oh, David Hall, foot off the legs, huge wheelie there, and then he tucks the front a little bit, mate. He's always on fire in the first lap, always has a couple of slips, but it is number 28, Shane Richardson out the front on the Kawasaki, followed by Rogan Chandler from the Hutt Valley on 15 there. Can't quite see who's in third at the moment there. It is Toby Summers on the Carl Cox Motorsport ZXR with David Hall, 34 from Te Awamutu.
Yeah, great start there by David Hall, but how did he control that, Spider? He deserves a medal. First of all, there was too much front wheel in the air, and he had a wheelie almost out of control, but got it back, and he came down into the corner and lost the front end and regained that, but still gets through there to hold a top 4 placing. So great work in our Pirelli F2 lineup at the moment, but it's a Shane Richardson show for this young Whanganui man on the Whanganui Jnr. He's aboard Kawasaki, 15 in there along with 22 to go to Toba, 34, 33 up there. What a ride, Scott Dowman, go Whanganui, the Dowman Contractors Yamaha R6, and a first time for him out of this class on this bike, so great work here. This is a 2011 or 2012 model R6, a bike that the Dowman Contracting team have been doing up in the off-season. So here it is making its Whanganui debut for the fabulous Dowman family of Whanganui, and it is Scott in control. And of course he's going to put it back to back. He's going to go straight onto his Motard after this race, Spider. So look out for what Scott Dowman's up to today. Very busy, and he'll be joined there, of course, by super brother Ben to watching the racing as well. So great to see Team Dowman and flying at the moment.
Here is the battle for second place coming out of Robertson. Hello, Rogan Chandler makes a mistake, slips off the foot peg, and already Toby Summers was in there about 4 bike leagues. This is played into Toby's hand, but he doesn't get past, but Rogan Chandler balked there as they come into the overhead bridge. There is 28, Shane Richardson on the Whanganui Jnr Kawasaki ZXR6. The change of position down the front straight is going to be Chandler on the outside. Toby Summers looking to follow him around there. Half a bike length there. Does Toby Summers get up on the inside as they come out of turn 1 there? Our TV screen is about a 7-second or 2 seconds delay. Not quite sure. Yes, Summers is in front on 22. Now he is going Shane Richardson hunting.
All right,
Summers
let's look
is on
out
the
for
hunt.
it. Watch for the number 22 to be the fastest lap time on the next lap, because he's already pulled away from the 15 of Rogan Chandler. So I thought going down the straight here, Spider, I thought he might have had it going into turn number 1, but it wasn't to be. And in fact, by turn number 2, though, he had it out of BP to go. Remember, of course, BP to go may not be open for gas here today, but it is open for your body fueling requirements. So check it out. BP to go is open today on Taupo Key, just out there out of turn number 2 here at Cemetery Circuit. Back to 28 with Shane Richardson, 22 now, and Toby Summers. Look for Toby on the Carl Cox Motorsport ZX6 and see what he's going to do. And is it the fastest time? No, still not as fast as Shane Richardson. And that's a 50.3, 50.3. That's a super smart time out there in F2 racing. So Shane Richardson still the fastest, but Toby Summers has moved into second place and on attack this time.
Yeah, I reckon the wind's got something to do with his lap times. Not very, very quick. Okay, they didn't get a lot of practice in the dry, but the wind down that back straight will be slowing them. That's probably happening out of the S's in the cemetery as we see David Hall going through the Suzuki S's there into the main S's. Number 34, the Te Awamutu Dairy Milker pops a wheel up there. and off towards Robert Island. Still Shane Richardson in the front. We're looking out for him. Toby Summers has got the break from Rogan Chandler. I get the idea that Rogan's actually settling down and just going, I'm going to ride, mate. I can't catch Toby. That's a wise thing to do, but already Shane Richardson's got about a 100-metre lead. It's another 150 back to run number 15, and then we go. I think David Hall's possibly going to reel in Rogan Chandler here in this race. 92, Ashton Hughes. He's got 2 local tracks from Greymouth, but he also lives in Fielding, so he's got Manfield. He was on fire. I think he was 3rd fastest qualifier in the Triumph 675. Brought to you by Dallas Photography as well. So Electric Racing 96 is out there. Flea Willisey's son, sorry. Sam come back after a broken collarbone just at Labour weekend at the Greymouth Street Races. Had a bit of a high side there, and in the practice when it was wet there and back out there. So didn't get his clearance for Taupo, but was back at Manfield for last weekend. So Neil Ritchie, the lead bike's coming up, Shane Richardson.
And he's been super fast. He hasn't let the throttle off, that's for sure. He might have a bit of a buffer over his competition, but I tell you what, he's put it all on at the moment for 22, and Toby Summers not a sniff in at this stage, so still at 50.307 for Shane Richardson on fire at the moment. Then we look at the gap closing. Yes indeed, David Hall on the tail of Rogan Chandler, so it's Suzuki on attack with the Yamaha, looking out for 92. What a great day here today for Ashton Hughes. And then we go to 33, and one of 233, Scott Dowman. The other one is all-round Dunedin nice guy, Mr. Michael Lee, who's joined us here at the Cemetery Circuit on the Southern Cross Jewelers supported Colin Klein Motorcycles Kawasaki. So the Otago man on fire here today and loving us. I tell you what, and in the top half of the field, great effort from Michael. Unassuming, quiet guy, love his character and love his support of the sport. Great to see him making a big trip up from the bottom of the South Island to join us here at Cemetery Circuit for 2017. So check him out and give him a hand. The green man out there, 33, Michael Lee, great work. But 28 Cider, it's all on for the Shane Richardson show.
All right, we're almost into the 50. We're actually into the 50s. A 53.07 from Shane Richardson. Still about a second off the lap record. The lap record is outstanding. Chris Seaton, 49.515 set 11 years ago. 11 years ago. Formula 3 is held by Terry Stevenson in 2009, but Seaton set it in 2006. That's incredible on the Bernard Racing Yamaha. So here we go. Michael Lee comes over 33. Struggling a bit this weekend because he's got no pit crew, but he's out there doing it. Was floating around about 10th place last lap there. Where is those lead bikes? There is 28 coming out of the S's here at the Cemetery Circuit for the round of the Suzuki Series. Chandler closed up. No, David Hall's got through, 34. David Hall has got through on Rogan Chandler. Rogan, I don't think he's going to fight back here. And doesn't look like we're coming out to any lappers there. So we're on the final lap. The white flag is out. They're getting the checkered flag ready as we see the R&R Power Sports Bad Love Media sponsored Carl Cox machine of Toby Summers doing double duties also on the Motards.
You're right, 34 overtaking 15, so it's happened there as Spider predicted. So there we go, Rogan Chandler from the 2nd place, now back to the 4th. So it is Shane Richardson, Toby Summers, David Hall and Rogan Chandler. They're your hot act at the moment on Pirelli. Paris, nothing without control. F2 Super Sport Racing at its creme de la creme. 33 to go out there with Michael Lee, pushed along by some quality traffic in the lineup, including as we watch that time, Jaden Galway and Jeff Crude out there. Sam Willisey up in front of them. Scott Dowman's got back another placing because Zarin Wickie's been able to get past him. So Zarin back-to-back racing with our F1 Sports and Bears Racing as well on that Triumph 675, but a Triumph 675 eligible for F2 racing as well. So Zarin picking up, checkered flag all the way for Shane Richardson. And here's that battle going on and checking it out. Where's our 22? Where's the 22? Gone through. That's 22 gone through. Oh, and there's the battle. I tell you what, Brogan came right back at him with a big charge down on the Suzuki straight and getting right back there. Well done that time. So here it is, taking it away, 28, and a flying good ride there again from Shane Richardson. Well, I tell you what, every post a winning post, that's for sure. Then go to the 22 of Toby Summers. He was back a little bit in second. That scorching pace of Shane Richardson did that best time back in the earlier lap, and he kept it all the way through and pushed his advantage all the way. 34 ahead of the 15 through there, of course. Went on back to our race results. We got up to 6th place as we rock through to 7th on that occasion, 33. Scott Dowman, that new Dowman contracting R6 Yamaha, an incredible form and a great ride from Scott to pick it up there. Go Whanganui. It's more than just Pirelli tyres, remember, of course, it's also Toyo tyres. I'm proud to fit those on my van. Hope you do as well, supporting the motorcycle industry with NWA, and also to, of course, AGV helmets, EBC brakes, and iPone 100% motorcycle lubricants. Quality products from NWA. Proud to be a quality team supporting the quality street race in New Zealand. Whanganui Cemetery
pretty fast around here, and I know for qualifying Toby was good on the brakes, so I just pushed myself a little bit more in those areas, and if he got by, he got by. I was more than happy to sit behind, so I managed to run my own laps, and he didn't come by, so I'm happy. And I think from what the guys were saying on the PA, pretty good times as well. Yeah. Not bad.
Campbell 1 recording.
Here we go, Supermoto ready to ignite as we go racing once again under starters orders. It's a long, lazy start, that one, but it gives everybody an opportunity to get ready, and that's what it's all about. As we go to our Supermoto lineup, and Richie Dibbon has been on fire this year, one of only two riders to be unbeaten for every race, and he's got pole with his 2 bonus points of being the fastest at Taupo and again at Manfield and again here today. So check him out, 119 Richie Dibbon. He has lost it in the last 2 years, but I tell you what, it is not his to lose this year. Check it out, the 119 show. Richie Dibbon, the new father, the new husband, the new all-round good guy, is back, brighter and better than ever before. 119, it's the Richie Dibbon show, ready to ignite it here on the Q&A Honda CRF 450 Supermoto Racing. About to fire up for the first full lap as they come around on this opener. It is the 119 of Richie Dibbon as your race leader to head through. Keen to look out for the rest in our lineup for Supermoto. Watch him slide it through the corner. Spectacular to watch go so low. And for 13, yeah, team down. And there you go, Scotty Dowman. Fresh from his F2 race.
Yeah, that was Scotty Dowman in second place and Ben Dowman in third place. That's bike number 119 followed by 13. 17 has been Dowman. Jet Josiah from Tabarui there on 63. We go back to Duncan Hart, 74. Aidan Brown on 11. And Roundtree and father Russell Josiah, 63 and 12 out in the same race. 4th and 8th. Russell Josiah, many-time winner around here and former New Zealand Superbike champion winner. He wasn't racing at the first round but got out last weekend. But Richie Dibbon, mate, how does he just do this year? You know, he's always been fast, but he just seems to be a head and shoulders above everyone else in the last 2 race meetings.
Bigger margins than we've seen in the past. We know that he's been the winner here before, but he's really had to work for it as he shows it making it look so much more easier. 119 and Richie Dibbon, the Asia champion of the 2016, didn't do it this year with his fatherhood looming, but he'll hopefully be back for more in 2018. Great show. Courtesy of Edmonds Painting, Whanganui, Richie Dibbon out there. His previous time for qualifier at 52.2. There he is at 51.3, so 0.9 of a second off the time he damped the track this morning. So Edmonds Painting Contractors in our Supermoto lineup. Richie Dibbon in front, looking back there. Connor Cummins back to 17th place at this stage, but hey, never been here before, never ridden this bike before, so completely foreign for him. But hey, he came over for some racing, so he wants to do more of it. Why not do another class? And Supermoto delighted him. So courtesy of Q and Honda, Tony Rees Motorcycles, he is out on the CRF 450. So too the bike for this man, the Honda in front, 119 for Richie Dibbon. In first place, 13, second fastest, Scotty Dowman. He's just fresh off that F2 bike. Back-to-back motos for this man. Man, talk about working hard for his living here at Whanganui. Lucky it's a bit of a cooler day today, so he won't be sweating it out too much. But I tell you what, giving away nothing with his energy levels. Scott Dowman on fire on the Dowman Contracting supported Honda out there at this stage. So Scott Dowman in second, Duncan Hart up into third, Scott's brother Ben back in fourth place on the 26710 bike, and then go the 11, the young gun from Whanganui, the little jockey, and Aidan Brown. Good couple of third placings for him over the last 2 rounds, but a 5th place for him here at the moment. So Whanganui taking 4 out of the top 5 positions. The Tauranga visitor Duncan Hart in 3rd placing, the only non-Whanganui man in that top 5. Go Whanganui, the Supermoto capital of New Zealand, and it's all happening with this man, Richie Dibbon, on fire at the moment, 119. As you say, Spider, bigger and wider.
Yeah, we're getting close to lap record. Oh, 13, what a huge moment there coming up the overhead bridge. tucked it in too close to the curb and had to sit up. I don't know how he got away with that. Okay, looking at the lap record, it's a 50.906, a 50.906, a 51.414, but we've seen a 51.2 out of Richie Dibbon out there in the front, so I think he's backed off the pace just a little bit of backing off there going on. Supermoto used to be a 50.962. Toby Summers had that last year, new lap record. The lap records in the program are out of date, some of them, so I've got an update of the lap records in front of me now. So the Richie Dibbon show, but right now 13, 11 and 7:10, so it is Aidan Brown amongst those two Dowman brothers.
Well, I'll tell you a little bit of a story today. You heard the one about Sam Watson out there on the letter W, and the fact that, although his dad died here 2 years ago, didn't die here, but died 2 years ago, he's up on the inside, 74 to do it. Maybe Scott Dowman to get him back. Oh, how was that be if it was going to be a finish line? Is that going to be a close one to call or what? Oh, that was super tight indeed. So what happened here on the Pirelli Overbridge is that you saw 74 and Duncan Hart getting around the outside, and all of a sudden Scott Dowman saw the gap back on the inside and he took it and he almost regained it. But has he done enough to hold it, Spider? That'll be the telling game. Great fight going on there for second place. But it's all the Richie Dibbon show breaking out in the front of the stage. We're just finishing off our story. Sam Watson's dad here today is in the end, he's been for a ride in the sidecar in the warm-up intro today.
No, I think we've got a bit of spinning there. I suspect it's probably a little bit heavier over on Roberts Island. And coming out there, certainly lap times are slowing. But he needs to win this race by just the margin he wants to. But right now the margin is the length of the front straight. 13 comes through by 74, followed by 7:10. So that is Scott Dowman, Duncan Hart and Ben Dowman. Aidan Brown goes through there in fifth place, sorry. And absolutely electric. A 33 thousandths of a second gap between those two bikes you were talking about last lap there, Neil Ritchie.
To watch for there, of course, is our number 62 track builder extraordinaire, a man acknowledged for his lifetime of support for the cemetery circuit. At our riders briefing this morning, Spider, was Cudge Scott. Cudge is back in 11th place, but 4 points behind Fastway Courier's James Clark. So he's out to get into the top 10. That's his aim for this year. So as you well know, as you get older, you get faster. And that's exactly what he's looking for, to get a top 10 in the series this year. So bring it on with the 62 out there of Cudge Scott at this stage. And Cudge in flying good form there. I think he's back in about 13th or 14th for the race at the moment. Oh, there we go. Change. I think it's back with Duncan Hart for that second place. Duncan Hart flying. I think he's put the Dowman brothers third and fourth. So I think there's Duncan Hart's got back to second. So Richie Dibbon out in front, 9-second lead. But what an awesome fight for third place. Duncan Hart. And then Dowman's 1, Dowman 2. Scott from Bendigo Racing. Hit him to number 11 of Aidan Brown.
The white flag is out. We're on the final lap. I think they're out towards Roberts Island. Got to look at the big screen to see what's happening. In fact, the boys in second, third and fourth are still smashing it out through the Suzuki S's into the main S's here at the cemetery circuit for the final day of the 2017 Suzuki Series. So we're looking out for 119, Richie Dibbon. Here he is. He comes over there ready to take the checkered flag. He's slowed down substantially amongst our back market. Takes the checkered flag. Who's it going to be for second place? It is 74 comes through. Still that battle between 13 and 17, the Dowman brothers. It is 13 there, and that is Scotty Dowman, followed by Ben Dowman. Wow, sensational Motard racing.
Yeah, but what about the fact that Scott Dowman had just put a back-to-back race? So here's the bike. Obviously, the engine's running already for him back in the pits. It literally would be, let's drop the F2 bike off here, the MR600 hop back on the Honda 450. There's nothing in that one that's fine. So you wouldn't even have time for a drink. Maybe he's running a Camelback for hydration, or he'd be lucky today that the temperature's down a little bit, because back-to-back racing in the heat of Whanganui is a major ask, and he's done it with brilliance, and let alone that, he's executed with a fine third place. Go Scott Dowman, hero for the day.
Which I won't keep you long, because it looks like it's about to rain again, but you're getting closer and closer to that trophy. That's another good ride.
Halfway through, you see the rain coming down, and the traction is still there, so I just sort of kept on pushing on, and that was a good race, and had fun out there.
You had a bit of company there in the early going, but then you just managed to just ease away from it.
Yeah, I just sort of took it a bit easy and just sort of worked into it, and track's getting there now, but obviously the rain's coming, but was good fun, and I'm looking forward to the next one.
For the people that don't know, of course, you've been so close for the last 3 years. There's always been something that's hamstrung you, but this time it looks like it's your year.
Yeah, hopefully. So far, so good. So one more to go, and hopefully put it together and yeah, bring that #1 plate back.
Mate, well done. Congratulations.
Definitely.
He comes, and what's the next class? Superbikes F1, so we decided we'll give them a little bit longer for a break, and so we brought the Gixxers up the program. That's the flexibility of a well-run, well-oiled machine that can do that, so doesn't mind what race we put on the racetrack. It's more the fact that we've got them ready. And of course, they've been using Dunlop treaded tyres for the entire series, so they don't have an opportunity to use a slick tyre. So they've actually got a treaded tyre, which means they're much safer in these damp. And look at that, even though the rain stopped, you can see that track trying to quickly dry out here already, so great to see. The Gixxers, folks, yes indeed, the GSXR 150, these 17 horsepower machines, but the racing has just been incredible. If you've been keeping an eye on bikesportnz.com on the World Wide Web, do check it out, bikesportnz.com. You'll see the bit of a coming together of two of the riders at Taupo at round #1 2 weeks ago as well. Spectacular with a capital S, so good to see. But look out for the number 34, Thomas Newton, as we head down towards the start. Of course, all of these bikes look very similar. There will just be a few different points of interest, either a different colour on the fairing or the tail or something of the bikes. And there's that number 34. There he goes, Thomas Newton in for the whole shot as we look out for 15, I think, coming wide through there. And 27, maybe the change, 33.
Yeah, already got one down there. One of the back markers there down. The yellow flags are out, but that should be a nice and light bike to pick up. There's a weight limit rule on this. It did originally started at 200 kilos, including the rider. They had a look at it and limited it to 173 kilos. They're trying to make as evenly a matched race as possible. They might be the slowest bikes around the cemetery circuit, but already they're moving around on one big thing. It's like a herd of turtles almost. Well, you know, real fast turtles, but spectacular racing for the Gixxer Cup, and a good move by the organisers to pull these people onto the track now. Thank you for all those 13 riders to getting up there, getting a late call up. And it is because they don't have to change tyres. They are on the same tyre, controlled Dunlop tyre. They've got the same leathers, same helmet, same boots, Alpine Star gear. It is an outstanding thing. 34 comes onto the overhead bridge, followed by 21, 33, 37, 24. Harry Parker from Timaru, all the way from Timaru. We've got a lad from Greymouth, I think, racing here as well.
You know, too young.
Okay, so
Clark and Jesse, they're two of the Clark's only 14 years of age. Jesse Stroud at 15. You're at 16th birthday before you can race on the streets of, or any streets, let alone the streets of Whanganui, Spider. Now here's a good one, because in third place, number 33 of Zach Fuller, and third place here, the guy hasn't even made the top 5 in any of the other races on the big track. What's his background? Off-road cross-country motocross. So come to a street circuit, come to the tight corners, come to a little bit of moisture, handle it with ease. His father is Mark Fuller, multi-times New Zealand cross-country motocross winner. So great pedigree there for the Kiwi rider supported man out there, but it is certainly that man again, Thomas Newton. And watch the style, Thomas, and I hope the photographers are here to take photos, because he's been looking at a bit of MotoGP on TV, hanging it right out in literal style. Thomas Newton defying gravity.
These guys are the Moto3 class of the future. If you have a look at your program, it's got a list of the classes, the name, country of origin, and the bike, and it's got T, MF and CC, some columns there. CC is who's racing at the cemetery circuit. There is a Y in there denoting that they are racing at the cemetery circuit. The normal, the Gixxer Club stuff is being presented on the 3 Suzuki Series and the 4 New Zealand Road Race Championships, combined points and all that. The age limit is 14 to 21, but of course, being a street circuit, it's a limit of 16 to 21. That's why we don't have 21 bikes like we had at Manfield and Taupo. That's why we're down to 13, but 13 absolutely outstanding riders out there. They had a little bit of a word at riders briefing and during the week to these boys. There was a few elbows out. Some of them are ex-motocrossers or still current motocrossers. They've been told, look, the streets play for keeps. Just keep it calm, keep it easy. A lot of matching leathers out there as well, all the same brand. Alpine Stars. I see one of the riders has a set of orange and white striped leathers. So one side of the track we see orange leathers, the other side it's white. It's a bit confusing for the commentators, but we're loving this sport, mate. We're loving what Suzuki New Zealand has done for motorcycle racing in New Zealand. The Gixxer Cup, mate, this is the way of the future. Future champions right in front of you. You can still buy one of these race bikes, new 5995, including all your ride gear, stands, the control tyres, everything. Almost ready to race. Just got to put a catch bottle on there and get out on the track.
And we've lost our race leader. 34 is gone, absolutely gone, not included in that top keep, so he can't be for keeps any longer. So 34 is gone. Thomas Newton, didn't see it on the screen, didn't see it out there. So we've lost our race leader. So Thomas Newton, for whatever reason, is gone. So that means that it's now gone to Peter Sabrit, so he's the man out there. Zach Fuller moving up to second place. Hunter Stoneman Boyle, the Whanganui man, then in third place, going to Harry Parker all the way from Timaru, and then go to Tarbin Walker. Now Tarbin, the 31, he's been the man on the racetracks, come to the streets of Whanganui, his home city, and he's struggling there to get fifth place. But the good feature about this Gixxer Cup is it actually runs through for the next rounds of the New Zealand Superbike Road Race Championships, which kicks off in 2 weeks' time at Ruapuna, then goes to Levels, Hampton Downs, north of Hamilton, and finally at Taupo in March. And you can drop around with that, so it's 7 rounds with drop around, so that's why they put it in. So those younger riders that aren't here today, they've had the opportunity with that drop around to have dropped this round, so they'll still compete at Taupo, Manfield, drop this round, and then go to Ruapuna, Levels, Hampton Downs, and finish at Taupo. So they actually lose nothing by not being allowed to ride here today. Have no idea why we've lost that number 34 of Thomas Newton. That is a disappointment because he was absolutely dominant in our practice qualifier. Probably one of the biggest qualifying margins that we've seen in a long time. 1.6 seconds, nearly 2 seconds, Spider, between the first and fastest rider and the second fastest rider, which is unheard of. And for a guy that's only struggled to make the podium, where did it come from?
Oh yeah, incredible. I'll tell you what, JB Sabretz is riding outstanding. Sloane Frost has taken in under his team this year.
Oh, nice.
Sloane Frost is the guy that prepared most of the bikes, all stock standard bikes, relatively stock standard with a Mead Speed exhaust pipes, a few obviously race preparation things gone on there, put the numbers and the graphics on there.
Took him up 2 horsepower.
Yeah.
2 horsepower. Went from 15 to 17.
Yeah. Well, it's still exciting racing. JP Sabretz, mate, he was he didn't feature very well at the last 2 rounds from my memory, sort of 6 and 7s, but
exactly.
now
and the same with the man Zach Fuller behind him in 33. He was only doing those 6 or 7s as well. So look at them getting right out there, knee sliding down and keeps that speed round the corner. Come on, folks, this is spectator sport as well. Give them the cheer, these young guys. All of these are first timers. They've never raced Whanganui, any of these guys before. So this is absolutely brand new. So too are these motorcycles, and these guys are out having a fun here today. And hopefully, riders, we're going to see here, Spider, for years and years to come. And as you rightfully say, building the future of our sport with Suzuki and the Gixxer Cup, the 150s.
No young Jesse Stroud. Jesse had Jesse's underage to race here anyway, but Jesse had a practice crash on the another class last weekend and bumped his head and hurt his back. He is okay. He's sort of he's okay, so that's important because the Stroud family were worried about him. Of course, with young Jacob here, first time here, there's a few fingernail bitings there. First time at a street circuit for Jacob Stroud, but Jesse Stroud, I don't know whether you're here or watching, or certainly you'll be watching online if he's not here. We look forward to seeing you at the New Zealand Superbike Championships back in the Gixxer Cup class. Okay, 1 lap to go. The white flag is out. These are just 6-lap riders. JP Sabretz, Zach Fuller, Hunter Stoneman Boyle, Matt Broff, Harry Parker, Tarbin Walker, Michael Wilson, Scott Hawkes, Joshua Hodson, Will Derby Hoffman, Thomas Newton, Cameron Goldfish and Braden Holden. In fact, those last 3 are off the timing sheet, so just 10 bikes. That is the
21, 33, 37. Here's the battle coming on. I tell you what, it's going to be a closer fight to bring it home for that next place. 33. He's just going to hang in there. Zach Fuller. Zach gets the second place. Good work for the Kiwi rider, sponsored rider.
No. Okay, our timing screen said it was 6 laps and it's counted down, but that's the white flag out. So that is the final lap. So it maybe have changed into a 7-lap race. Either or, we're still racing, folks. We're out there and looking out to the lead biker going down the back straight. JP Sabretz goes through the Suzuki corner, the home of Suzuki New Zealand, and into the S's there. 33, 37, still battling it out. Probably 3 bike lengths between Zach Fuller and Hunter Stoneman Boyle. Good to see Hunter out here. I was talking to his old man this morning, seeing Mark Stoneman, seeing how he's going. He says, well, he's an ex-motocrosser. He's quite okay in the rain. So right now we've got dry conditions though.
Well, but it did start in the wet, and I'm wondering whether that was Thomas Newton's undoing, but we didn't see anything on the screen, so wondering whether, in fact, might have been something else. But for whatever it is, it's more importantly, it's to the gain of JP, so well done. Juan Peter, there we go, 21, look at that for the corner speed, keeping it flowing and keeping it all the way to the winning. The first ever Gixxer Cup winner here is JP Sabretz, and great races. We then come around for that fight for second place, and a tighter and better battle there as we look out for the 33. Zach Fuller hanging in there, Hunter Stoneman Boyle, and gets the third place. Looking back to Matt Bro has got it. Then the Timaru man in Harry Parker. Look back to Tarbin Walker. Might be able to blitz him on the street, but the local Whanganui man, on the track, but the local Whanganui man not quite so fast on the track here with Invercargill's Michael Wilson. Special hi to his father Reese, who's joined us here today, and to the rest of the Southern Suzuki race team. They've come all the way from sunny Invercargill to join us. Awesome to have you with us, guys, and all the best to John Crawford and the other team members today. So great effort to see Michael all the way from Invercargill. He's been whipping home each week, so tell you what, that's some air Point Spider. That's been Invercargill to Taupo and back.
Performance for you out there, once you cleared the bunch, it was pretty plain sailing.
Thank you, yeah. A bit slippery, but managed to save it a couple of times, which I think helped me. The guy in front of me crashed, so I got a little nervous, but yeah, it was a good race.
But managed to keep up that gap, and of course you mentioned it was slippery. They used you guys as guinea pigs a wee bit because the F1 guys didn't want to come out while it was raining.
yeah, it's pretty good though. I had fun.
What do you think about the circuit? First time obviously here at Whanganui?
Yeah, I love it actually. I think it's pretty free flowing, and it's a lot wider than I thought. Because on the photos and when you're actually on the sideline, it's not this wide. So you got, I'm just happy with it.
And obviously the first time the Gixxer Cup's been here, you're obviously pretty happy with how you've gone this season, this limited season?
Yes, yeah, it's going good so far. This is my best result so far, which I'm pretty happy about.
So, leads well, are you doing the Nationals?
Yeah, I am.
Congratulations, JP, well done.
Thank you.
Good stuff, thanks mate.
Well, our points, of course, are a lot closer in this class compared to some of the other braking runs that we've had by some of our other competitors, so we're keen to have a look at that. We'll also be taking a bit of a glimpse back at some of our lap times, but I don't think we're in for a lap time kind of a lap record kind of a braking day, but who knows, anything could happen when all the pressure comes on of racing. And more importantly though, the quality of this field, and there it is, you can see them in the bright white and orange, the leathers of Connor Cummings, joining us here for the first time in New Zealand. An absolute honour to have a man of this class. You can find out about him, meet him in person. Tell you what, he's not a small man like Lee Johnson. So chalk and cheese those two. Connor, in fact, qualifying in 10th place. Lee Johnson qualifying in 7th. As we look to the start, and the all-important start is a break clear and head down into turn 1 for the first time, and into it nicely they go. And I tell you what, maybe somebody up on the inside, or was it the wide street? I'll tell you what it is, Suzuki 1, 2 and 3, and it might be Scotty, Daniel, or maybe the Yamaha in there. I saw the blue one. And in fact, no, we go to 8, and it is Scott to go out there, 34, and Dan met him. And I think then we go to Sloane Frost. I think it is the updated. We've got Suzuki 1, 2, 3, and keen to look out for it at the moment, but it is Scott.
No, we got 3rd place. It is Hayden Fitzgerald. He had a look up on the inside at turn 1. Already Scotty Moyer getting it out of shape a little, going into the Roberts Island there, sorry, Neilford, I could see on the big screen, and outstanding coverage on the big screen. We say a big hello to Horst Seiger here. He's been here 3 years for the cemetery circuit. He's back at home in Liechtenstein. Had a baby a few weeks ago. His wife had a baby, so I know Horst will be glued to the screen here watching the cemetery circuit. Already Scotty Moyer, he's got about a 1.2 second lead down the front straight there. No, not quite, 0.77. So it is Scotty Moyer, Daniel Madam, Hayden Fitzgerald, Jay Lawrence, Sloane Frost, Adam Chambers. Adam Chambers has won round here on a Formula 2 bike, Mitch Rees, Lee Johnson, Livio Zamperia, Jamie Maindonald, Connor Cummings, Glenn Scatchell, Dylan Telford and Alistair Huggins. Interesting choice of bike for Glenn Scatchell. He's taken out his promoter. Now, that is a different choice. Whether he's happy riding one bike all day here instead of changing to Kawasaki Superbike, whether he's looking for rain in the future of the day, but it looks like that's
sure he
not
was
coming.
out on the Kawasaki when they did their practice qualifier, so he has been out on that bike, and I wonder, yes, Spider, whether the choice of the weather conditions may have just given him, said, oh, hey, I've got more controllable power with this bike and with that patchy weather. I'll take it. Here we go with the 8. It is Scott Moyer out to lead him in a moment. 34, young gun, Daniel Madam getting it sideways on top of the Crowley overbridge, but he keeps it under control and keeps it power off as he tries to dart down there on the inside with a margin at this stage of 0.8 of a second between first and second. It is Suzuki 1, Suzuki 2 with Scott Moyer, Daniel Madam, and both of them, of course, motorcycle mechanics by day, motorcycle races by night, in the all-important challenge of Whanganui's elite Suzuki Cemetery Circuit with Hayden Fitzgerald, Jay Lawrence in there. Jay, of course, under the support of Carl Cox Motorsport with Sloane Frost in there for 5th place. Then go to Adam Chambers, Mitch Rose back in 7th, ahead of Lee Johnson. Remember, of course, Mitch Rees has only missed out on one podium in the 4 races so far. His worst result's been a 4th, but he's back into a 7th place here at the moment as they try and warm up. In fact, probably a lot of these guys, remember, they went out on a wet tyre in the first practice, then a dry tyre in the second, so they haven't done a lot on these tyres, and just not quite getting those scintillating times that they might otherwise have won. As we look for the 6th of Mitch Rees, nobody putting a serious challenge on him, but he on night had put a serious challenge on the rest. And then a freight train of 5 very good riders, including Connor Cummins, are locked into that group. And the next up result there, as we go to Livio Sempera ahead of Lee Johnson, Jamie Maindonald, Connor Cummings, Glenn Scatchell in there, Dylan Telford and Alistair Huggins. And with all the racing of Alistair, pretty sure it's his first cemetery circuit here as well, Spider.
Yeah, definitely his first cemetery circuit. He has done method, and I think the Invercargill races in Greymouth on big bikes, reasonably big bikes, and a very experienced rider. Slowly, touchy. You know, they've got to be careful here today. He wants to survive for the Suzuki Series. So, Alistair, first time at the Cemetery Circuit. Welcome to the family, Bill. And I saw James Higginbotham there as well. And I'm assuming, I heard that Mother Diana here as well. Here we go. Scotty Moyer down the front straight. Lifts the wheel just a bit. These bikes have got traction control, but sometimes the riders choose to switch them off. They've also got wheelie control, so it's all about technology. Now we changed from Formula 1. It's still Formula 1 here at the Cemetery Circuit, but the National Superstock class has come in instead of Formula 1 bikes. All these bikes in the top 6 or 7 are super stock bikes, so that's how far technology has gone in just a year. You buy your bike, you don't have to strip it down and hot up the motor. That is the new rules, and it is great to see these bikes dominant in the Formula 1 class here at Whanganui. Neil Ritchie.
Yes, indeed, and great to fly and watching the quality of the riders that we've got on board with these as well. And looking out for 37 and Jay Lawrence, what a spectacular run from this man. Jay was always one that really did put his hand to fit a glove when he first came here to the Cemetery Circuit a few years ago on smaller bikes, but now up with the big boys and showing us his real class there. And a very good fourth place here at the moment on the TSS Red Baron, supported Carl Cox Motorsports, Suzuki GSXR 1000. As we look back to the Flying 64 of Adam Chambers, still on a Kawasaki, and I tell you what, probably going to put in his best performance of the series, I would suggest, because in this Suzuki Championship, the Kawasaki ex-Honda rider, in fact, finds himself right at home here on a street with a very good 5th place in front of people like Sloane Frost and Mitch Reeves. Would be unheard of to think of that. So hats off there to Adam Chambers. Great ride, Spider.
Oh, definitely. Lap times running in the high 49s, 49.9. 49.944, 49.902. The lap record is 49.0. I checked the track temperature just before this race. It's very low 30s, about 30.5 degrees. So not hot enough for lap record at the moment. Certainly hot enough for exciting racing. Scotty Moyer got about 40 metres out. I don't think anyone's running pit boards this weekend or today here at the Cemetery Circuit. It's just too hectic to put a pit board out there, and very few people looking over their shoulder. A tight race to go between Dan Medham on the Suzuki there, number 34, and Hayden Fitzgerald. Jay Lawrence is watching all that in a good spot there, and maybe there's going to be some lappers later on. I get the idea most people are so fast there won't be lappers though.
I tell you what, if you want to watch one of the best races going on within the race, 5 and 6 are the placings, 5th and 6th. That's Adam Chambers on the Kawasaki and the number 2 of Sloane Frost, the former champion and winner here at the streets of Whanganui. So watch for that one to go. What a neat battle to unfold. Always good races within the race, and a real good example of it. The fight for 5th place all on there at the moment. 64 versus 2. Kawasaki over the Suzuki. Sloane Frost doing the attacking, but can Adam Chambers keep him at bay? I'd suggest Sloane, more experience, may get the advantage in the end, but a lot of good racing to go through. A fantastic top 4 we've got with the flying number 8 Talbot motorcycle mechanic. It is Scotty Moyer to lead them at the moment on the big Promoto supported Suzuki GSXR 1000.
The white flag is out. We've got the final lap here for the first of the Formula 1 races here at the 2017 Suzuki Series at the famous Cemetery Circuit, running since 1951. What an incredible race meeting. Scotty Moyer goes into the Suzuki S's, followed by Dan Medham, and then it is Yamaha-mounted Hayden Fitzgerald, followed by Jay Lawrence, the 37 man, the man who made himself famous last year, won a race, did a wheelie after turn 1 and flipped it and got worldwide reviews. I think 500,000 views on YouTube of that. But never mind, he took the Commentators Award, the Ray Whittam Trophy for that moment, because Ray would have just loved that little bit, but unfortunately wasn't hurt. Here we go, Scotty Moyer to take the first win. He has won here in the Formula 1 before. Takes the win. It's a race to the line for second place. Who's it going to be? I reckon there's about 20 thousandths of a second in that. In fact, 66 thousandths of a second. It was Daniel Medham in second place, then Hayden Fitzgerald. Jay Lawrence comes through there on the 37 machine. Adam Chambers, followed by Mitch Reeves, Sloane Frost in 7th spot.
Notice that change. In fact, that Adam Chambers had moved up and gone past Mitch Reeves as well, so let alone the fact that he stayed clear of Sloane Frost. He's finished back in 7th. He's got up to do that, so a good result there, and Mitch Reeves to have taken Sloane, so there's the update as well. So changes that went back there. We said, first of all, watch the 5th place fight between Adam and Sloane, but in the end, Mitch Reeves got himself into that 6th place and Sloane back to 7th. So I'd call that almost an upset in there, Spider. But Scotty Moyer all the way. Number of people have predicted it. You've got it right there. Why did you think the Scotty advantage?
We talked at Taupo and I said that maybe this is your year. You came in here with a 7-point advantage, and that looked like, I wouldn't say it was comfortable, but it looked quite easy.
Yeah, had a bit of a look back halfway through and saw I probably had a couple of second gaps, so just done really what I had to do, you know, there's no point sticking my neck out. So, yeah, reasonably comfortable.
A lot better than what we saw this morning. I guess conditions have changed tremendously since then.
Yeah, from the first one this morning, it's a hell of a lot better. For a bit there was a bit touch and go. I was sort of like, what are we going to do? But thankfully they put a few races off and got a break for us so we could come out and put on a good show.
One to go, and then of course the all-important Robert Holden.
Yeah, to be honest, just the awesome is to wrap it up in the next race and then go and Robert Holden and just try and take it through. That'd be awesome.
And I know we talked about this before, but I mean, yeah, this is all well and good, but I mean, it's the Nationals to come in a couple of weeks, so you can't really risk too much.
Well, that's it, yeah, I'm not going to go all out, you know, and bloody go suicide to win Robert Holden, but hey, if I'm going to get a good start again, the Gixxer just been getting off the line good, Crowley tyres hooking up, so do the same again for the next two.
Well done, mate, I know your dad was excited.
Yeah, cool. He was bloody waving me on, I thought he was telling me to go faster.
Good stuff, Scotty, thanks mate. Cheers.
Cool.
They've been dominant up till now, but I tell you what, you might expect a bit different here at Whanganui. But I'll tell you who I'm going to look out for very strongly is Adam Unsworth on number 8 with his new Pellinger. Bryce Rose on there. Great, this guy was on fire in practice. In fact, looking at the qualifying times, 0.2, 54.009 and 54.268. And Adam's had a lot of wins around here, but don't discount, of course, Tim Reeves. 5 times world champion on Formula 1s, also twice world champion on the Formula 2 bike, which he's running at the moment.
I had a good talk with him last weekend, Spider, and saying us that he's quite happy that they've got an F2 limit as far as the Isle of Man's concerned, but he's really disappointed that the World Championship has come down to an F2 class to decide it, because he is a big bike fan. But on the other hand, as he says now, to make the most of it, to come to a place like New Zealand, get some good riding in and be doing it on the F2, you've got to turn every post into a winning post. So he may not be as competitive on the bigger circuits on that sidecar, but certainly come to Whanganui here today and bring on that smaller sidecars. I go back to, I can't remember his Christian name, the Englishman Robinson we had here a few years ago on an F2 sidecar.
Vince Biggs. Vincent Jamie Biggs.
No, I'm thinking of the...
You and me were standing up in the tree there, and he was putting his wheel through the grass there.
Exactly,
Vincent Jamie Biggs he was 50 years old, got second at the Isle of Man TT by 0.2 of a second, and came out here and I saw him go through the S's with his wheel on the grass there, and I'm going, wow, you won't get away with that again, that was lucky. No, he did it 5 out of the next 6 laps. Unfortunately, he played too hard, clipped the overhead bridge and bent a rim, and was out for the rest of the meeting. But absolutely awesome to have Vince and Jamie Biggs here. Vince was the man, and Jamie was his nephew.
Oh, here we go, looking for one of our machines. It's the Mick Paul Inspections unit won't get a start here, not getting a start, so but it's going to be at the back of the field anyway. So the rest of the field can get away. We've got a machine that's not starting here, but luckily there's a little bit of a downhill, and that might give them the advantage. No, they'll certainly need to get that machine out of the way in a hurry, ready for their next lap. We've got about 45 seconds to do it.
Look at that start by Tim Reeves and Mark Wilkes already. They've got about 40 metres. We've got a spinner there, 2 spinners.
2 spinners.
I think that's 84 on turn 1. There would have been a collision there. Corey Winter and Kyron Ritten. They backed into the hay bales, and I don't know. I think that might be possibly a blue bike there, and possibly 92. No, it's not 92. No, it's not Jim Bilby and Bruce Roberts there, so never mind, we're all right now. The yellow flags are out there. Mick Paul bike's got off the start line. We're looking out. The bikes are already out of Roberts Island, Robert Holden corner, and Tim Reeves, Mark Wilkes. What a sensational team. Great guys too. Absolutely wonderful guys to talk to. Flip that wheel coming on the overhead bridge, flying. Second place, coming into second place, it's Adam Unsworth and Bryce Rose. They dived up on the inside of Lambert and Julie Callender. So that's an impressive ride there coming on the overhead bridge. That is Greg Lambert and Julie Callender. Oh, sensational sidecar racing. We see Tim Reeves, the letter T, looks over his shoulder. Can't hear the bikes. Usually you can hear the bikes. Looks over his shoulder. He knows those big Formula 1 bikes will be hunting him down. He qualified fastest, but not by much. Here comes Barry Smith and Tracy Byrne on the 73 machine, trying to get into third place. Have hit the little 600. As I said, the letter L, Gregory Lambert and Junie Caliber. I asked Gregory, I said, you've got Mum on the front of your car, sidecar. What's that all about? He said, Mum passed away a couple of years, Mum Jan. And he got a bit of a tear in his eye, and he told me, he says, when Mum and Jan got married, Ken, I think his father was, they were going to come to New Zealand. Then she put the kibosh on it, so he's wanted to come to New Zealand. This is his opportunity to come to New Zealand. Here he is in third place at the cemetery circuit, being hounded by number 73, Barry Smith and Tracy Bryan down the front straight. The big Formula 1 bike there, Neil Ritchie.
Yes, indeed, the Formula 1 bike looking to squeeze up on the inside, should be able to get there on turn 1, and yes, indeed it does. Down the TSS Red Baron motorcycle straight in a good run there, and they've moved up, so there's the advantage of being on the big 1000cc sponsored unit rather than just the smaller 600, so that means a change into that third place. So the 73 can get up there at the moment of Barry Smith and Tracy Bryan on the LCR 1000 Carl Cox Motorsport sidecar, but I tell you what, to the L out there of Gregory Lambert and Julie Canepa, a fantastic run, and man, this guy Gregory Lambert, what an all-round nice guy, and of course the GLR is Gregory Lambert Racing, and this is his own sidecar as well, and great to have the quality of these sidecars in New Zealand, and the greatest sidecar meeting seen in New Zealand for many a day. There we go, of course the other guys are almost lapped, so there's the T to come through, here's the 8 out here now with Adam Unsworth, a new swinger Bryce Rose, and then back to 73, there we go with Carl Cox Motorsport, back to L with Gregory Lambert, there's the W going for it at the moment, out there more of our international flair getting underway, including Graham Evans and Eamon Mulholland, and looking to the 11, here they are on the Lawrence sidecar today, or actually number 11, I understood that Team Lawrence Brothers had some problems and they were going to be potentially on another machine, but any updates on that, Spider? Are they still there, Lawrence Brothers, on their bike or somebody else's?
No, they're still on their bike. I didn't catch up with that gossip, but I'll tell you what, I went out with a few of these foreigners from, some of them from Europe, some from Australia on Sunday night in Fielding. I think we just about drunk the town dry.
Oh, excellent
thirsty
story.
boys, they'll be thirsty tonight at the prize giving, and I'll tell you who's going to get a prize tonight, and a big one. And there's also a prize for the first short bike chassis at home. That's Tim Reeves and Mark Wilkes here. 4 laps to go in the sidecar race. It is spinning, folks. And there is the Boss Engineering bike, Adam Unsworth, Bryce Rose goes through, 73 Barry Smith, Tracy Bryan, Gregory Lambert and Julie Canepa, the letter W, Graham Evans and Eamon Mulholland, followed by Spike Taylor and Charlie Bilby. Rat, his father's racing in this class on the number 76, swinging, and they're both doing classics as well, swinging. 11, the Lawrence, there is number 92, my brother Ian Staples there, and Louise Blythe. Louise Blythe had 3 wins round here on long bike with Stacey Seller. Good to see Stacey Seller in town. He's been picked up today. Good to see him in town. So Louise knows what to do. My brother's raced here. He's had, I think, 3 wins in back in '89 here in the winter weight race, but he still knows his way around the circuit. So great to see. There's Tony New doing the swinging for Dave MacArthur on the 67 machine. Tony fell off at Manfield last weekend out of the hairpin. First time ever. He had to shout a dozen for that, but that's life, isn't it? That's sidecar racing.
35, unfortunately, those boys had all the bad luck at the start. Mick Paul and Paul Blinkhine out of Whanganui on the Anderson Special Whanganui sidecar, so they're not included in that. In fact, doing the right thing by moving right out of the way. So you got the guys. Bad luck, of course, for Astrid Hartner. We lost Astrid in a practice crash at Manfield over a week ago with a injury that keeps her out. So all of a sudden, a new swinger on board there for Spike Taylor, NZ number 1. And then the team, Lawrence Brothers, and 92 for commentator Spider's big brother and Ian Staples out there. He says nobody else riding a sidecar that they've built out there. I don't know quite whether that's all the detail that's correct, but you get the idea. A Whanganui built sidecar out there with Ian Staples on the Staples 1000 with Louise Blythe doing the swinging on there. And of course Andy Scrivener and Tina McEwen married here on the island 20 years ago when we got the local celebrant, the Mayor of Whanganui.
Andy Scrivener and Tina McEwen.
Oh, sorry,
Andy married someone else.
Yeah, exactly, sorry. Yeah, thank you, Spider, for the
these
correction.
sidecar people swap round a bit, I don't know. No, they got a presentation this morning. Andy Scrivener and Vicky Scrivener were married here 20 years ago. I was there in Gisborne when they first met, actually, on the night in Gisborne when they first met, and they got on well, and got a couple of kids now, but here we go. Letter W comes over the overhead bridge. Graham Evans and Eamon Mulholland from Australia and on. Ian Staples, 92, the thundering V-twin Aprilia's got past the Lawrence brothers. That's the wheel going over the overhead bridge there.
And that's the advantage again of the short chair, Spider, because you watch them come here much more sure-footed and going around that corner, better corner speed than the big F1 sidecar. So there you don't hear many times of them overtaking the Lawrence brothers and into a top 10 place, and great effort from Ian. Oh, lost his
Mark
finger.
Hall's lost his passenger. Hello, he's lost his passenger to Neville Mickelson. Comes over the overhead bridge. Neville come off last year as well. He knows he's going straight ahead. Here comes the number 8, Adam Unsworth, Bryce Rose. Bryce Rose has raced a classic and a modern sidecar and a classic bike here, I think last year at the Cemetery Circuit. He'd be a worn-out boy, but only racing the single class and doing oh so well. And very happy. We're coming through lappers. The final lap for the sidecar race. They're coming
And
across
that could be
that,
close, and Mick Paul shouldn't be worried about trying to race amongst those guys, and nearly took out the other ones as well. An evasive move that did not pay dividends. That could have had a terrible result, but anyway, it has a happy ending, and we're on the last lap at the moment for our collegiate quality in-supported F1 sidecar racing. 92 with Ian Stables on that V20, beautiful sound, a great handling machine. Head to the 11 of Chris and Richie, Lawrence Maxwell. Let it be at the moment with Tony Baker and Shelley Smithies, all the way from the UK on the Baker Suzuki 1000, courtesy of Silicon Engineering, Carl Cox Motorsport, Barnes Racing. And caught up and amongst them all there as they go through, and amongst all of those other ones being lapped. There you go, Spider, as good as the world champion is, how about that? Lapping the quality of those other riders. That is fantastic to see. 8 home in second place. Well done to Whanganui. Well, the ex-Whanganui team there, of course, Adam Unsworth and Bryce Rose. And here's the 73 home in third place. And I think this is much about those guys keeping it sensible, because they'll be looking for the advantage on the points that they're trying to get. And we'll go back to those sidecar points shortly and just see where we're at, because only 2 races today for our F1 sidecars. With the sidecar points, maybe the third placings that they got are going to be enough, but I was thinking they were better off with seconds. They would have wanted seconds as well, so maybe that's a setback for them, Spider. We're keen to look at those overall points, because
Yeah, it was. He just said to me, did you jump? I said, no, it was perfect. I was just ready. I knew I had to get the jump on Adam. I knew if he outdone us to the first corner, then it would be a bit more of a problem. So yeah, it was absolutely timed to perfection. I was a little bit sceptical. He drove real good. We had a new tyre. No, he's jumped it. Oh no.
How fast was it out there when the wind got it?
Didn't even notice me.
Really?
No.
Because you guys were way sideways coming from here.
When I look back and saw we had a good lead, I just tried to put a good show on for everybody. That's what it's about, and everyone wants to see some fun.
Yeah, sideways action.
Yeah, that's what it's about.
That's what chairs wrong with that.
And Mark, you can tick it off your bucket list. You
That's
finished
it,
the race
I
there at
finished the first one, that's it. Just got to finish the next one, I've done the series. Enjoy that.
Good stuff, guys. Well done.
Thank you very much. Cheers, boys.
a quarter to 1 and still getting in lots of more of our racing. We'll have classic sidecars after this, which will take us to the end of round number 1, so almost halfway through our day when we add the Robert Holden, of course, that extra race, into our second and final round of the day. Harrison's Hire Master bringing it to us as well. So we've called this class a few different names over the years, but Formula 3 is perhaps still quite apt. It's sometimes been called light bikes, sometimes been called sports bikes, but you get the idea. It's a smaller version, but taking nothing away. Huge thanks as well to Russell and Jnr Snr, because they're at home at Bike Talk in Tamarunui, and they're proud to be sponsors of this class. Suzuki, a way of life, and they're your King Country Suzuki dealer, and they're about to get out there, but well, this class, in fact, this year, the non-start of Lee Tidman's taken a little bit of the class out of it. You've had people like Scott Moore, you're just concentrating on his other class. But great to have Jason Easton coming back to join us, Spider.
Oh, yeah, he's here, is he? Yeah, and then don't forget the lap record held by late Terry Fitzgerald. 21 wins, I think 19 seconds and 11 third places. Now, ladies and gentlemen, you are witnessing history here. An electric motorcycle. You won't hear it, you'll see it there. That is the letter Y. Yoshi Kishimoto's had a second and third in Formula 3 here at previous cemetery circuits. Wasn't here last year. Only come into the country a couple of days ago. In fact, they had issues with getting it charged. The battery charger was a Japanese voltage. I take my hat off to Joe Lett. He rung me in Wellington, and I met a guy, Daniel Claughton from Invercargill, former Whanganui boy. I knew he was in town. Daniel bent over backwards to get that charger going down at Joe Lett's for a couple of days, and then come to Swartz Tyres, and thank you for Godfrey Swartz for parking it up there. I haven't told them there's going to be a big power bill today, but I'll tell you what, it'll be worth every little wee penny. Here we go. Is this Ashley Payne?
Yes, it is.
Ashley Payne, 72, the local man, followed by 88. Nathaniel Diprose, 294 speed bridge. Jacob Stroud in his first fit. Here comes Yoshi Kishimoto. They weren't even sure. Riders Beaver then says, well, check out the lap times. He might be put in Formula 2, but right now he's finding his way around the cemetery circuit. Wasn't doing too well in practice this morning because he was only on slick tyres. They don't have any wet tyres in the country for those unusual size wheels, but 110 volt DCs. We had to brief the flag marshals. If this thing crashes, you might be like touching a defibrillator. It might wake you up a bit, but certainly, hopefully we won't crash. But Yoshi Kishimoto, history, all the way from Japan for the cemetery circuit for his fourth visit here. Great to see him and his team here. But right now, the local man, Ashley Payne, on the 72 machine. Just winding it up. Works at White Locks, I think, and builds his own bike. And look at this thing flying. He's got a healthy lead there, probably about 2.5 seconds. Gets a thumbs up from Neil Ritchie. Nathaniel Diprose is under threat by Steve Bridge on the 294. The V-Armour bike, the loudest motorbike here. Jacob Stroud's doing oh so well there. I think in fourth place as well. We got a blackboard up there. Just trying to get my binoculars.
fact, good opportunity to look out because, of course, Himoto in there, and little Yoshi just dropped back a placing, so Gav Veltmeyer's got past him, the flying number 3.
Oh, drama. The blackboard comes out. Number 72, Ashley Payne's got a jump start. So while he leads on the track there, Neil, he's got a jump start. That will be a 20-second penalty.
All right, so that means that we're going to keep an eye on the times now because it's the margin that he's going to hold at the end of the race. Now, the buffer at the moment is only 4.4 seconds. He's not going to get 20 seconds in this race. And more importantly, the other riders see that now, so they know that they can go harder. So a jump start, the penalty. We talked about it before. It used to get away with it, but no, not any longer. Did the jump start. That's why he's out in the front. So there you go, 88. Nathaniel Diprose here. This is Steve Briggs going back to younger Jacob Stroud looking out for 3 out there. Gav Veltmeyer. You showed through there on the little bike. He's pushed along and behind Yoshi. In fact, I was going to say Nick Southerwood, but I've got the wrong one there. And we'll have an opportunity. No Finn Harmon in this one at the moment. So the other one, Jordan Burley out there. And he's the other number 3 in our lineup on the Suzuki SV650, courtesy of Handy Rentals and Beaming White. So keep an eye on it, folks. Your first electric bike. And if we talk about electric bikes, what about the performance of Guy Martin at the Isle of Man this year, of course, on an electric bike as well. So that's something about the evolution of where we're heading, Spider.
Oh, yeah, and of course, Bruce Ansey last year. They're now over the 120 mile an hour mark. Bruce Ansey, our own Kiwi, won the Isle of Man last year on the electric bike as well. Okay, now Ashley Payne might have seen that number board come up with his penalty on there. It probably would have been pulled in, so these second and third place guys won't know that, but they're still out there for second and third there. Nathaniel Diprose, the young fella from Auckland there. He's chopped the cylinder off a 600 and made it into a 450 triple. And or they don't chop a cylinder, they just disable the cylinder, pull the fuel injection out, run a counterweight or something like that in there. And he's fighting out there with Steve Bridge at the moment on 294. Jacob Stroud still holding, I think, a solid 4th there on the Kramer, the beautiful 690 KTM single machine. And he'll be doing the New Zealand Superbike Championships on this and the MV Augusta, courtesy of Hallicraft and Mahi Capital. So it's great to see Jacob Stroud for his first street race. He did ride round Waimate at Labour Weekend, just demonstrating this bike in a big car race, but great to see Jacob Stroud out here riding. Here comes Ashley Payne. Up to the overhead bridge, through the overhead bridge, wides it on. He's had several race wins here. He won on, I think, a Triumph 675 a few years ago, and also I think he won on this bike as well.
Change there going on, so Steve Bridge has moved up into second place. More importantly, that could be the first place if there is less than 20 seconds between first and second in the end of the race. So the margin at the moment, we'll look out for this courtesy of MXT, 7.8 seconds. So I don't see it being greater than 20 seconds. So look out for Steve Bridge. He will take the win. Does he know he's going to take the win? No, I don't think he does. Or Nathaniel Diprose will be out there on the 88 bike. Now, Nathaniel may have seen the board go out for the penalty on the number 72 of local man Ashley Payne, so he might have seen that board. I don't know whether Steve would have seen it afterwards. Steve's going to say, of course I saw it, I was looking over his shoulder, but we're unsure of that. But more importantly, that he knows where he's sitting in that second place could be good enough to be in a first at a moment. So check it out, the 294 of Steve Bridge, the Ngātawahi man on the VMR F7, the F1 Engineering Bike Touch Classic checks, Pirelli SBS DID Fueline, Beric Rapidart and Dave McDonald supported beautiful bike. Steve Bridge, your unofficial race leader without the 20-second penalty.
Oh, mate, he's already had 10 wins, 15 seconds and 7th, 3rd place. He's at 21st in the all-time history. He will go up to 17th place if he wins this. 3 years ago, he was in hospital with very badly smashed legs after getting run over after crashing on the overhead bridge here. So Steve Bridge, mate, you've lost none of your fear. You've lost none of your skill, none of your workmanship. It's been a hard few years, and right now he's ready to take the win here at the Cemetery Circuit. I think there's just 2 laps to go. The white flag is coming out. Ashley Payne from Whanganui coming along to the overhead bridge. Who's that in behind? That's a lapper there, 57. So Ashley Payne, he knows he's got this race under control. He's far through earlier on. In fact, looking at the lap times, trying to get the screen to come back, looking at the lap times.
294, Spider, while you're watching that, 294 will do it. Now you get an idea, if you watch out now, get an idea of the margin there between first and second, but it's still Steve Bridge to hold on to it, so Steve's got it there at this stage. And then go back to 88, Nathaniel Diprose, as we look out for it. So Nathaniel in there, so that's 3rd place, so about to be moved up into second. Oh, Nathaniel might have got it back. Have they gone back the other way? Nathaniel Diprose has got it, yes indeed, on the blind spot for us. I'll let B&T straight, in fact, going along through that corner. We've seen the change made out of it, so well done indeed. 88, maybe again our race winner, so that history for Steve Bridge may not yet come to fruition, but look out, 72 to win on the racetrack, but won't win on the result. That's the important feature, won't win on the result. So here we go, 72 with Whanganui's own Ashley Payne heading for a checkered flag, but that's all it'll mean. It won't be the win at this stage. Who knows, that could go to a protest, we're not sure. Here's the 88, 294, so they're the next guys. So well done now, Nathan DeProse, Steve Bridge coming back second and third, which could be first and second. Here's the 10 for Jacob Stroud. Could he have his first ever podium in his first ever race at Whanganui? How many people from New Zealand have done that in the past by the stable? So there you got potentially for Jacob, finishes fourth on the track, but could be the third when we go back after the penalty imposed for 20 seconds. We'll find out that
definitely.
shortly.
It was an 8.770 second gap between first and second.
But where does he go back to?
State, Brian's local. Tracy used to be local on a local built bike. John Blamus from Paiatua. Charles Bilby's a local fireman. Robert Hood and Mark Thompson a local. We got Mark Smith and Darren Prentice, from Masterton and New Plymouth there on the 555 machine in fourth spot. Peter Dowman and Brian Greenless, followed by Neville Mickelson. I don't know who his passenger is at the moment. We have to go to another piece of paper. 256. No, not listed, but I don't even know whether Neville's out there because he had a crash. Fell off on the F1 sidecars riding the F2 number 69 with Mark Hall. So we've got a start at the moment. Out absent from the field at the moment, 84. The classic sidecar of 84, the classic sidecars. Corey Winter and Kyron Rittam, unfortunately, they had a machine failure there early on, put them into the airbags. Thank God for the airbags. Another 18, I think, airbags here at Whanganui this year. So already through the Suzuki S there. It's the locally built bike. Brian Stent and Tracy Bryan. This is the BMW shaft drive machine. Take a look at the workmanship on there. It's absolutely sensational. And the Motor Guzzi chasing them down through the Suzuki S's there, up toward the Robert Holden corner here. There's where Robert Holden, the legend of the cemetery circuit, 47 wins, 22 seconds, 22 thirds. When he passed away, his family chose to inter his ashes at the Robert Holden corner, and just an absolute legend. Of course, he's the man that bought us the Robert Holden trophy when he passed away. Over the overhead bridge for the first time, 351. Tracy Bryan doing the swinging in two classes. So is Charles Bilby. In fact, there's a problem there, possibly with the Motor Guzzi. Yes, the 242 machine puts its hand up down the front straight. So they've gone into second to third, and they are cruising round there with their hands up, so a problem there. So that's handed second place to another local team, as I mentioned, 850, Robert Hood and Mark Thompson. There's some pre-62 machines here. They're the more sitting upright bikes, the tall bikes with drum brakes, and I think number 244 is also a pre-60 bike. You'll see that going down the back straight at the moment, the blue bike of Bruce Roberts and Jim Bilby. 457's that's another one of those BMW shaft drive bikes as well, and that's, I think, that wins here as well. That's had wins here, I think, in the hands of Andy Scrivener and Steve Bryan. It's been through a few owners, but that's another BMW shaft drive. Very, very dominant in the late 50s and early 60s at world sidecar racing and including the Isle of Man. But look at this machine coming over the overhead bridge, 351. Tracy gives up the thumbs up, yeah. We won't say that joke again.
Oh, that is beautiful. Tracy Bryan, what a great recovery. She loves every bit of it. Of course, it's her brother, Brian Stent, that's riding the bike for them out there. They put in a sensational run to be winners here last year, and looks like they've been enjoying so much of the racing. And you watch Tracy hanging over the curb here. Of course, this is the best left-hander on the circuit here at Whanganui. So to see a left-hander like that with a swinger to swing out to the left-hand side, and she's literally right over the top of the footpath as they go through. Luckily, a nice low profile, probably only about a 50mm curb here on the overbridge, so meaning that it can be the swinger hanging right over the side there. And to give a one-handed thumbs up to us, Spider, what an awesome sign. That's worth a photo and a million pictures.
Yeah, we don't want to jinx us. They set a lap record here last year. The program shows them having the lap record on their father's built Triumph Trident. They betted that on this BMW last year. Unfortunately, had a failure on the last lap of the last race with a problem. They've sorted that out. Here they come again. And Tracy doing double duties today, mate. She'll be a worn-out lady tonight, but I'll tell you what, she's part of the Carl Cox Motorsport team. She'll be off-teeing at Frank's Bar tonight, booging away to Carl Cox. It'll be legendary. I've heard a lot of Carl Cox's music. He's got up to 31 million hits on one of his YouTube tracks there. We'll see him live down at Frank's Bar about 9 o'clock, and Gavin Sokolich, Gavin S, is doing the warm-up for him. So great to see Carl here supporting so many bikes, and hopefully we'll get him up in the commentary box at one stage to have a bit of a chat. Great battle going on, 457, 222. Local team Tony Skellas on the 551 machine with Mark McKenzie. Now this is a Coventry Climax engine. Ever heard one of those? Probably not. They're a pump motor off a fire engine. That's what they are, a pump motor off a fire engine. They were popular in the 60s and that, along with Hillman Imps and sidecar racing. That's where the origin of that. And this bike came up for sale about a year ago. Flea says, you might know some people. It was sold within a day and it's gone to Whanganui. It's out there on the track. So they're having a great battle on the 551 machine.
Great to see. Need to find out more about that kind of technology, Spider, because of course the technology won't ever be repeated again. So seeing it out here on a sidecar at Whanganui, where it's owned now, is certainly sensational. 8:50 to go past. You love them all the time. Robert Hood and Mark Thompson, two great campaigners, courtesy of Take It Easy Tours, Top Litchfield, Channel Beaters, B&T Motorsport, Midwest Motorcycles, R&R Performance Engineering. So Robert, good work out there. 2:44 to go. Also, of course, Bruce Roberts and Jim Bilby out there. They're the great team from Bolton up there, and the Rangers from the Manawatu on their pre-63 Triumph as well. So some true classic sidecars out there with Ignition Motor Group, proud to be the home of Holden and Kia here in Whanganui, proud to be behind racing today with our 222 as well to go out there. Les Sargent and Sam Hickman out of the fielding area. So Spider, when we look at our lineup, you might have a couple of people from the upper regions of the country, Auckland and Katikati, but Manawatu and Whanganui certainly steal the thunder. And if we go back, of course, places like Paiatua, where else would we have racing if it wasn't for Paiatua? Of course, more winners to come out of there than many other places for a long time in our sidecar racing as well. So bring it on with not just these great machines and great riders, but also great supporters of Cemetery Circuit for many years. Some of these people probably have been here to Cemetery Circuit as long as you or I.
Oh, definitely. And you're talking about Paiatua. Gordon Skilton, 10 times New Zealand champion, was out of Paiatua, and one of his main opposition, Graham de Melmont, who originally rode the 74 bike that Will and Julie rode. They were New Zealand champions, all out of little old Paiatua, but right now you're watching history made. Okay, 242's pulled out, but you've got the son there. Charles Bilby was doing the swing on that. His father was riding on another classic and still out there on the 241 machine. So father and son riding classics, swinging classics in the on the sidecars, of course, and also doing the Formula Ones as well.
So there you were talking about your fifth Dowman name, Michael Dowman.
Oh, that's Michael Dowman. Yeah.
We had Scott, Ben, Daryl.
And no, Daryl's not riding, but with Peter Dowman as well.
Peter and Michael, that's it, Peter and Michael. Sorry, yeah, there we go.
There's been other Dowmans in the Suzuki Series as well this year, but right now 351 comes over there. The brother and sister combination there, the thumbs up again. They cruise down the start-finish line. 3 laps to go here in classic sidecar racing. The Norton in second place with Robert Hood and Mark Thompson there doing the passengering on the 850 machine. It's out a bit more than 850. There comes standard as a 750 and 850 these Nortons, but I think this thing's out to be at 955cc. Brought to you by Take It Easy Tours, Tom Ditchburn.
Oh, that smells a bit hot. That smells a bit hot down there, so I'm it's going to be touch and go whether the Dowman machine can make it for that third place. 250, that's certainly a bit hot, but it's a fabulous old Yamaha XS 650, that great twin from Yamaha, solid and reliable machine. Lots of sidecars have been powered by that engine over the years, Spider. But Pete Dowman and Brian, there's a bit of hot steam coming out of that one. Could be too hot.
Of course, the modern, it's very hard to get Triumphs and Nortons and those sort of engines these days because a lot of the classic guys are very expensive to keep on the road. So the way to go possibly is the XS 650 Yamaha, and that's what the Dowman Greenlease machine is. Here they are coming down the front straight. The white flag comes out. It is the final lap. They'll take another win and another lap, but of course they've got to finish that lap. 850 goes through the local team again. We're looking out, and it is in third place. It is still that smelly bike, as we'll call it smelly bike. Peter Dowman and Brian Greenlease. Peter Dowman works for the Whanganui Area Works, and coming over the overhead bridge, shoulder the passenger rubbing there. Hopefully they get that sorted out for the next race, because it is puffing a bit of something there. 244 comes over again over the overhead bridge. Bruce Roberts and Jim Bilby. As I say, Jim's local. Bruce is from Bolton. Races are modern. They go all over the countryside. They're at Timaru racing 3 weeks ago, and here at the Cemetery Circuit. Looking out, actually let's look at the screen. We'll turn around and look at the screen. It shows us a picture of the front straight. There's something blowing over there. Great coverage here. You can watch us in the future, I believe, through CTAS. Great to see Grant Collingwood bringing you the footage here, or transmitting the footage. And that's his artwork on there, I'd be pretty well think. And he's doing the jet sprints tomorrow. 222, the BMW. 2 BMWs, the pre-62 bike and the modern one takes the win there. When I say the modern post classic. 850 goes through there and takes a good clean second place. Shame 242's out, but hopefully they can get that fixed for later on, because what do we get in the fastest lap time? It was just in the low ones, 1 minute 1:03, so a second off the lap record, but that's because it's quite a cool track, and of course they haven't got the competition at the moment, so they don't need to extend it. Brian Greenless scrapes his shoulder on the road every time he's coming over there. What he does for a living, he does the X-raying up the hospital. He's a radiographer, so he's seen a few broken bones from the cemetery circuit, no doubt, but he's out there doing it and having a good time.
Hey, great to see in our support from Ignition Motor Company, the home of Holden and Kia, right here in Whanganui. Don't have them at the biggest
Okay,
circuits.
Neil, thanks very much. We're just in pit lane. Tracy Bryan, you must be one of the most popular sidecar passengers this side of this black stuff.
I don't know about that, but I can tell you it's pretty hard work on two of them today, for sure.
Tell me, is it harder work on one of these old things than Barry Smith's long bike?
They're different. I mean, there's obviously a lot more horsepower with the F1, so yeah, it's from the arm strength quite a bit if you don't get it right, but this one's a bit more fun, a bit more slidey, and yeah, Brian knows how to ride it, so I just sit there.
You've got a lot of experience. Brian, hey, well done, that was a good race. You got pushed a little bit there.
Yeah, geez, thank you. Yeah, just got to stay in front, that's all it is. First across the line does it, so yeah, quite happy.
And you're a local Whanganui fella?
Yeah, born and bred, yeah.
So tell us about the rig, what sort of engine, what year, what capacity?
She's a 1000 BMW, pretty early, 72, so a bit of fun though. It's just nice to ride, electric start still in it, so we don't have to push, and it's good. Great riding with my sister.
Does it have any history here at Whanganui or anywhere?
We got the lap record last year on it, so hopefully lower that a little bit today, but yeah, other than that, Dad and I built it in the shed at home.
Well, this is now our ultimate race for each of our rounds. We're back to our post-classics, exactly where we started today on. So 2 races at Taupo, 2 at Manfield, and now the 2nd of Whanganui. This is the 6th and final race for each race counting towards points. So we were about to find out who will be our Suzuki champions for 2017. So not just Whanganui at stake here, but of course also the fact that it's a series, 3 different tracks, and as we've seen today with results, very contrasting results as well. And great to see as we take our field and our lineup at this stage. So also keen to note out there, and thanks Spider for picking it up, that in this class of course we have the number 66 of none other than Grant Dalton, and I know that our riders rep today, Bob Grover, was talking to Grant about his racing at the Isle of Man. Of course he rode the Classic TT and think he had a crash over there at the Classic TT doing over 100 mile an hour. So more importantly, he's here and riding today his passion for motorsport, just not with motorbikes. Remember, he also races 4 wheels at times as well, but more importantly,
And yachts.
and what
Yachts.
and what
Yatchets.
Okay, and so there you go. Yes, indeed, the 66 to look out for Grant Dalton, who enjoys our racing here today. All right, to our Lindsay Tate and Associates, our post-classics, and good to get away again. Hard class to talk about when you've got the class of Glenn Scatchell in this one, Spider. He is just so superior to anybody else. It's not just the fact that it's a beautiful motorcycle. After all, Mike Webster lays on the best with the Bimoto YB8, but in fact we know just how good a pilot that Glenn is as well. This time last year he was winning F3 classes. He can turn up and win anything here at Whanganui.
Oh, definitely. The bike's all good. This is used to be raced by Nick Cole, and Nick Cole says on a good day this thing could probably win the Robert Holden Memorial. Wow. The outright race of the day. So Glenn Scatchell, not taking anything away from Glenn, mate. He's still got to ride around there, but right now 47 leads with Paul Pavletich and the Superman leathers there on number 4 in second place. We look out, Finn Harmon's back out there on 405, 583, Matt Elgleton 102, SJ Cavell 57, Mark Robinson I think in 24, all the way from Invercargill, Chris McMeekin. Mate, he'll be praying for rain later on. He's a legend on this GS 1000, particularly on the tighter circuits like Methford and that. And he behaves like a poorly trained ape when he's got his beer in his hand. But right now, leave the beer till the end of the day. Prize giving at the Racecourse Lounge tonight, of course. That'll probably empty out in a while because we've all got to go and see Carl Cox, the man who's supported so many bikes here at the Cemetery Circuit and New Zealand motorcycle racing. What a legend Carl Cox is. And the guy's just so passionate about what he does. Supports the High Sun Cup, supported Sidecars, supported Dylan Telford in Italy this year when one of his major sponsors pulled out. There's so many bikes with Carl Cox, of course Toby Summers. Dylan Telford smashed up his bike and had another problem last weekend, so they pulled out a Carl Cox Kawasaki, I think 600 for Dylan to ride here at the Cemetery Circuit for his first ever Cemetery Circuit. There goes Todd Ackroyd. Great to see Weasel Wayne Marshall not great to see him unable to ride, but great to see him pass his bike out there. to local man Todd Ackroyd. Looking over to the Suzuki S as Paul Pavletich goes through there in second spot with Finn Harmon hunting him down. Remember, this was the battle in the last race. Finn led for a long way. I get the idea that Paul Pavletich was just trying to work out where to pass him. Paul had the advantage of a lot of riding around the 7G circuit, but also another about 400 cc's, and also the big drive of the four-cylinder. There's the big drive of the four-cylinder, leans it over, wheel in the air, Glenn Scatchell on the 47 machine, Paul Pavletich, followed by Carterton's Finn Harmon from the Wairarapa, just north of, where is it, north of Greytown, and just south of that you'll have the town famous called Method Featherston, and that's for the oh, we don't say that, do we?
Can't say that, Spider, excuse me.
Featherston then.
All right, Lindsay Tate and Associates and Post-Classic Racing at its brilliant best. There goes the 24 with a lot of experience around here. But great to have the Invercargill man with us as he's in fired up good form. Qualified in 11th place. Didn't see where his result was in the last one. Remembering the split for junior and senior as well. So he's got a handful of juniors in front of him. So it'll mean that he's still in the probably 6th or 7th as far as the senior lineup is concerned on that beautiful GS 1000. A great bike from yesteryear that's acknowledged in Post-Classic lineups. 818 to go through. The little bike down there as well of Guy Webster, but already back to 47 and Glenn Scatchell igniting this field with a great ride, but the fight for second is the one we're looking to as we still see Paul Pavletich, Superman, holding out the charge now of Finn Harmon, and Finn on his tail on that Ducati, a 750 up against the MRO W01 former Superbikes, of course, World Superbikes in 1988 at Manfield, New Zealand, and of course these were the bike that everybody was talking about, OW01s. We quickly got some of them in New Zealand. And one of those first ones on them was Tony Rees, of course. He'll tell you about an OW01 doing his apprenticeship in Superbike racing. And to see somebody now like Paul Pavletich up there and performing as
oh, Finn Harmon goes down at the Suzuki S's. Finn Harmon, I was just going to mention him. I think he's upright, but 30 thousandths of a second separating him and Paul Pavletich on the last race. It is now 20 thousandths second, but Finn Harmon is out. He's up, he's picking up the bike. He got away with that one. That was so lucky. He'll have to get it out there, but Finn Harmon goes down on the 405, but the important thing, he's up, he's pushing it off the track, so looked like a front end loose down there, the Suzuki S's. Maybe we get a slow motion replay, but Paul Pavletich won't know this. He'll be keeping it at pin because he'll be waiting for the sound in his ears. He won't be able to look over his shoulder. He'll be too bumped over that bike, but that's a disappointment for young Finn Harmon, but I can tell you he's upright as we see 57 Mark Robertson coming over the overhead bridge. Is that Paul Wooten on number 54, Dean Bentley on number 11 on the TSS Red Baron bike, followed by Hawke's Page, Jan Louis there. Stephen Gregg on 171, here's Chris McMeekin on the 24, getting past right on the outside by 396. That was an amazing move, Braid, committed move there. The yellow flag, no, the yellow flag shouldn't be out down there. Let's look out for the lead bike. It's coming out of Roberts Island. In fact, it's coming all the way to the overhead bridge. I was pinning my hopes on Paul Pavletich coming out of Roberts Island. That's the lead he's got. If he jumped the start, he'd still get a win here. But he didn't jump the start. I didn't see any blackboards. 39 comes through, an old RD 350 also. Remember, there's also pre-82 bikes and a couple of pre-72 bikes out in this class, but it is pre-89, Formula 1 and Formula 2. That is the series points. Mac Eggleton comes over on the 583 machine. Beautifully presented Yamaha FZR 818, 297 and 102 having a battle there. 102 is a lap, is going past, he's lapping. So he'll be in about 4th place, I think.
Well, I see somebody like Tony Sklenners this time, and Tony's done exceptionally well with his racing. Qualified 5th at a good moto in the first one, but he's dropped quite a bit back this time. So something up for him. 24 now for Chris McMeekin. There's Todd Ackroyd to go past on the number 14 on the Weasel Racing Kawasaki ZX 750. ZX R, I suppose we should put in there. And looking out for them. 1 lap to go, so we're on our final one to charge. People out there, of course, like Nigel on the number 20 machine, watching out for Nigel Lennox going through there, the tiny little pocket rocket pilot, as we take the run down, and looking out there for the white flag on each occasion. 4 to go through.
Ladies and gentlemen, I think we've got our first lap record today. Glenn Scatchell's pumped round. I'm just waiting for the screen to refresh. I think I saw 52.060 or 52.060. The last post-classic lap record of 52.782. So that's 0.6 of a second. I think last year at the Suzuki Series, Glenn Scatchell set a lap record, I think, in every race as well. Just about, so...
according to this result, Spider, here last year, 51.7.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, boys. I was looking at the program, which is out of date.
Oh, that's
apologies. So 51.7.
51.7.
Apologies, folks.
51.4. 51.4.
Sorry, folks. As Terry Galway goes through there, another father and son combination racing today. Jaden Galway is doing the, is he doing beers or Formula 2 or maybe both classes? So father and son, often Jamie Galway's here as well. The white flag is out, the white flag is gone, the checkered flag's out. There is second place, so Glenn Scatchell takes the win. We're going to look out for Terry Stevenson to do the interviewing. We're trying to get a little bit of a eye on him to see when he's available to do the interviewing, because we don't have a flag system at the moment or a phone system.
Glenn, that was an awesome race. You were smooth, almost at lap record pace. This morning I suggested you take a spark plug out, you know, to make it a bit more competitive. Have you thought about slowing down?
Wow, it is called racing, not tiddlywink. So we're keen to keep the acid on the in the 89 today, because we're running this bike in the F1 class. So it's just good practice.
I noticed this in the F1 class. Where did you come in that race?
I think I finished. I was either 8th or 9th, but with a really awesome battle behind Connor Cummins and Lee Johnson. So it was pretty special to be on the track with those guys. And
so in the F1 race coming up, are you going to be on the same motor?
Yeah. So we've had to park up our Kawasaki ZX10. Unfortunately we've broken the rear shock in it, I think. So this is our spare bike. But to be honest, I don't think there's too much difference in lap speed.
And what year is this?
Oh, it's 1989.
Wow. Mate, you've got to get it on a modern bike.
Yeah, well, that was the plan. Obviously, today was to be out on the 10 in F1 as well. But best made plans. But so I'm really happy to be out on this with the support from Metzler, obviously hooking us up with some grass tyres, and I mean that's pretty evident on the lap speed and the old thing that we're getting the grip. And huge thanks also to Mike and Ange from Webster Racing. This is Mike's creation, this bike. And you can see from, again, how well it performs on track that, it's a pretty special machine.
Glenn Scatchell, this is, you've won the Suzuki Series for the Post Classics. You didn't lose a race. No one could come close to you. How many Suzuki Series have you won? You've won 3 in Formula 2 some years ago, and you've been in Formula 3.
Yeah, so this must be, I've won 3 Formula 2, 1 Formula 3, and now 2 on the pre-89, yeah.
All right, roll on next year. Well done, Glenn Scatchell.
So I'll try and get down and check it shortly, but...
probably, if anything, feels a little cooler, doesn't it?
Yeah, definitely, yeah, the wind's certainly cooling down. Just one reminder, folks, no glass here. If you are drinking out of cans, find a rubbish, and if you must have bought your cans in a bag or something like that, or a chili bin or something like that, please put it back in there. But if you do nothing else, please crush them so they don't have the risk of running out on the track. It's serious when something like that happens. And we've got through the program well. We don't want any wreckage running across the track.
Jacob Stroud well back here, something up with that. There's the Helicraft racing man on that KTM 690 machine. He was just looking apprehensive there almost, so not quite sure as to why, but he'll weave his way up. He certainly qualified in that. He'll be on the, have we got room? He'll be on the end of the, should be on the end of the second row, won't he? Yes, should be. There he is. Slots in on the inside end of that third. I think that's inside end of the second row, so he might have just made it there. QS Boat Builders extraordinaire in conjunction with Scarfit, your scaffolding innovative solution engineering experts. Proud to be supporting our Junior Bears and Formula Sport class as we line them up and head for the corner. Straight, there we go into turn number 1, and keen to look out for it again for Steve Bridge on that big beautiful Ducati. Can the 294 do it as he's done it before, but he's gone a little bit wide on the corner. Maybe the lighter bike to get up on the inside, or it still might be the Steve Bridge shows. Steve Bridge back again. His spider's been updating since his Hugh crash a number of years ago. Great to see him back, but he's getting all the pressure on from that little Triumph pilot and Zaran Wiki, and Zaran now maybe the advantage spider.
Yeah, it looks like Zaran Wick is out as we see number 54 pull out there. Number 54 not in the program, but never mind. Looking out through the S's, the bikes are going through the S's at the stage and out towards Robert Highland. We're looking at the screen there, and it looks to me like Zaran Wicky's out in the front, and I think that might be 211. Dwayne Bishop there in second spot. So what's happened to Steve Bridge? Got issues there. Zaran Wiki, 211. And there is Steve Bridge in third place on the 294. Mark Perry's had a win before. He's on his new Aprilia RSV4 in fourth place. I said, whose was this bike? He said, I didn't want anyone else on a race bike. I bought a brand new one. Changed from the Aprilia V2 1000 and onto the big fourth cylinder. So He has had wins round here, or at least one win round here. That is Mark Perry in 4th place on the 87 machine.
Oh, looking out for Mark Perry. I'm sure he's going to do all the pushing, and watch when it comes into a corner like this. She'll be able to get up on the inside. No, not yet. Zarin Wiki still to hold it out, so good work for Zarin. There he goes. So Zarin Wiki out there on the Triumph takes the 675. That's of course is a junior bike, a Formula 2 bike. Effectively is still a very competitive bike. Take nothing away from him. He'll be in the next race, of course, with the F2s, because that's where the bike's eligible to race as well. Triumph 675's the Triumph Triple, but he's got the pressure there from the big Aprilia. So here we go with Zarin Wiki, Dwayne Bishop, Whanganui. In for the challenge there, along with Steve Bridge, Mark Perry. And then go to Team Xerox there in our next place.
All right, change of position down at turn 1. Dwayne Bishop goes up on the inside. Sorry, Neil. 2 years ago, we handed half a key to Dwayne Bishop at the prize giving. He had 3 crashes I hear during the day and smashed his key in half, still got back out there. But right now, he went up on the inside down at turn 1, and we see them down at Suzuki. There's a change of position there. It's gone back the other way. It is now Zarin Wiki back in the front on the 18 machine. 675 Triumph, 3-cylinder versus the 1000cc Aprilia V4. Bishop looks up on the inside of Roberts Island. No, has to shut the door there. It balks a bit on the apex of the corner there, Neil.
Yeah, had to go wide. In fact, he had to go wide, so he'd lost some of his advantage. Watch him coming up here towards the Pirelli overbridge, and the race pace is on once again. What an awesome battle out in front. Check it out, the 675 up against the big 1000 Triumph, the head of Aprilia. Here's racing in a set as we look to 87, and Mark Perry come up, almost give Steve Bridge a little bit of a nudge here. They had 2 different angles in which they were coming into the corner, and that was very close for Mark Perry. He was looking to come out of the corner stronger, but you saw, in fact, Steve Bridge was trying to go in stronger and then come out less positive. So there you had quite a significant change between those two, but let's hope they still keep apart and still keep on the racetrack. So there it is, the bike fighters on as we look back to Grant Dalton there, 17th place in the update on that Kawasaki ZX 750. So that's where the Formula Sport fits in. That's the sports bike out there compared to a Bears bike in the other battles.
All right, almost a change of position there at Roberts Island. Robert Holden corner, they come across the lapper now. Again, Dwayne Bishop tried up on the inside but couldn't quite touch it there. They are coming across lappers. That lap was pulled out one to one side. I think they might be out of the race. Here he is. Mark Perry comes back up on the inside. Ben Lund mentioned how tight he was on the inside. Had to shut it off and lost the drive. So that gave Steve Bridge the advantage. But now Mark Perry is back into 3rd place. Or first into 3rd.
And the other one to watch it there now is John Oliver. John Oliver was a number I couldn't pick before. It's the number 15 bike. He's much closer than he was. He's on that BMW Superbike as well, Spider. That's a better performance. Watch how close he is now. We've seen that Mark Perry's moved up and Steve Bridge has been demoted, but there's actually a full freight train of them through there, and it is through there John Oliver that's keeping them all very honest. So tightly grouped field, which is all what you're lining for, and it comes to the world of good racing, quality racing, dominated by our Bears lineup in there at the moment. So Triumphs, the BMWs and the Aprilias all fighting for it. Can Dwayne Bishop come on, Whanganui come back to take it, or will it be the young gun from Hamilton and Zarin Wiki out there at the moment on that 675? Yes it is, Zarin Wiki still in front. Zarin Wiki, Dwayne Bishop, back to Mark Perry, out of Steve Bridge, then to the 15 to go past of John Oliver, the other rider, and there is a lap bike. Then go back to Nick Cavanaugh, Envy Motorcycles in that big Husqvarna. The Motard. I notice instead of the Motard, the bars forward, he's got the bars back. He likes to sit lower in his bike. Doesn't get very forward on the bike, so different style. But I think he's got about 600 odd cc's to play with, so quite a powerful bike compared to the other 450 motos as well, Spider.
Yeah, great to see the initiative of the Whanganui Motorcycle Club and Flea Willisey combining the some of the slower Formula 1 and Formula 2 bikes with the Bears. I can tell you the fastest of the sports bike is in about 8th place. And on the first 12 or something, there's 2 of those. So it gives them somewhere to race safely rather than being lapped by the big super bikes and the Formula 2 bikes in that class. So great initiative. We've still got Bears out there. We've still got Bears in the first 7 places. But right now, here it is, Zarin Wiki. A bike lead in behind him is number 211. He takes the wide line. He'll cut across to the inside here. No, he follows him around. Still hasn't got the brakes to go under him at turn 1 where he passed earlier on there. They go off towards turn 2. 3 bike leagues between first and second. Number 18, number 211, Dwayne Bishop on the Mega Mitre 10 sponsored Aprilia RSV4. Mark Perry's got the box seat view there in 3rd place from Sanson, just down the road by Bulls. on the 87 Aprilia, and there's Steve Bridge, mate, what a legend, racing 2 classes here on the 294 Ducati. Here we go, up to the Roberts Island. Dwayne Bishop tries up on the inside, he gets it, he takes the lead. Here comes Jnr Wiki back there. Here comes, oh no, it's oh yes, change of position there. Whoa, oh, bit of argy-bargy, and they're coming across the lapper. So Jnr Wiki was back in the front. Bishop comes up on the inside on the overhead bridge. Bishop on 211. Number 18 goes through there. Mark Perry's just right in that mix at the moment. Right, white flag, sorry, last lap.
Here we go, let's go racing, everybody. Come on, about time we saw a classic like this. Cracker of what we've known Whanganui to be famous for so long. Bears racing, along with this new Formula Sport class at its brilliant best. And we're scintillating field here today. The big man, the big bike, the Motard 10 mega bike of the big bear, Aprilia 1000, in front at the moment with Dwayne Bishop in control. I tell you what, we can see it on the television going around the world that the handlebar to handlebar, those guys through the 2 corners, through Robert Holden and in through to Trade Zone, were all on each other, and it's now the big bike with Dwayne Bishop to push the advantage through. But I tell you what, watch out for Jnr Wiki. He'll be able to fight back, we know that, but more importantly, right on their tail, we've got the likes of the might of Steve Bridge hanging in there, as well as with Mark Perry, of course. Mark's buffeted his way into that 3rd place. Here we go for the final time. There it is, Dwayne Bishop, Jnr Wiki, Mark Perry, Steve Bridge, and 15 in there for John Oliver. Bring it home amongst about 4 or 5 other lappers. That was a good 8 or 10 riders fighting it all the way down over the line there. I'll tell you what, the time at the moment, the times there was only about 5 seconds between those 5 riders, so calculate that on an average of around 1 second between each of them.
Come on. Yeah.
So keen just to get a more accurate update, and we'll have Terry over there to do. Oh, the burnt, oh no. There we go, so we've got looking out for Dwayne. So Dwayne Bishop in that great performance. He might have only qualified 4th in the wet here earlier today, but he's come home. He won the first race only just, but he's put it together for 2 in a row. And we'll have a look at his points afterwards, and he should be up there as well to count with those championship glory. Hasn't been able to win everything, but he's certainly been there for the sharp end of most of it. So well done today to Dwayne Bishop on his new Aprilia. Speaking about new Aprilias, Mark Perry has one as well. When I saw Mark on his one in the pits earlier today, I said, just because Dwayne got one, did you have to get one as well? And he said, well, you've got to keep up with the winners somehow. So certainly true on that one. So Mark Perry on the advanced panel and paint of Palmerston North supported Aprilia RS4 coming home then in 3rd place. Steve Bridge, still a legend of our sport, a good 4th place for him as well. So great to see Dwayne, Jnr along with Mark, Steve and John Oliver adding to the class of that field with a great run as well. Plenty of smoking up out there, folks. Time to burn some rubber as we have Dwayne Bishop just pulling up by Terry Stevenson down here, and with his helmet off we'll cross to Terry and an update.
Hey, well done, Dwayne. You were smoking it there. For those who are on the other side of the circuit, he did a massive burnout in front of one of the grandstands here. Hey, good win. You had to fight for it, didn't you?
Yeah, Jnr was on fire. That little 600, he's bloody good at it, but 2 wins from 2. I've never won at Whanganui before, so really stoked to finish off the series like that with a win here.
Yeah, and is that the Suzuki Series for you too?
Yep, sure is, yep. So I'd like to thank all my sponsors, Motard 10 and Kieran at DML Contractors and Mr. Woods, Whanganui Collision Centre. Who else is on there? Forbes and Davies, Sam Hardy Construction. Awesome, guys, yeah.
Not quite so fast. Where did you have the wood on Jnr?
Oh, look, it was pretty tight. He just made a tiny little mistake, and one of the back markers just slowed him a bit and just gave me a little window, yeah. I didn't think I was going to get him, to be honest.
And next year, you coming back?
Oh, for sure.
Same Aprilia?
Yes.
Well done. Came away with the victory in a very close fought battle here between himself and Shane Richardson. Shane's had it more of his own way. He's only been beaten once so far. That was at race 2 last weekend at Mighty Manfield by the number 22 of Toby Summers. But with a DNF in race number 1 for Toby, he was certainly on a setback course from there. And he's still only been able to scrape into our top 4. The points have been that close. So let's look out for it in a top start and a big charge off the line. as we look to again, I think, that's at number 34. I think we were going to see David Hall again with an almost groundbreaking start, but he's well back, in fact, to about 5th or 6th place, so doesn't get quite the high-fired start of flying up that he wanted to last time. So keen to look out them out of turn 2 along the B&T Fuchs Lubricant straight for the first time. There's the 18 of Zarin Wiki in there, of course. Zarin, remembering, fresh from doing that previous race in our Bears performance, so can he match it with those other flying 600cc bikes around his class? But it's all on with the 22, the Toby Summer Show for Carl Cox Motorsport, Mad Love Media, Super Finishing Limited, R&R Power Sports and Beta Tools. So Toby Summers on the ZX6R Kawasaki, the Aucklander, the Menacau Plumber, Summers Plumbers, and he's on fire here at the moment, 22 and going for it, Toby Summers, along with 28, Shane Richardson behind him, looking back to the flying Yamaha of the number 15 of Rogan Chandler, out with Yamaha New Zealand, Diamond Design, GD Racing, Mum and Dad, of course. So great to watch. Toby, Shane, Rogan, then go to David Hall and Ashton Hughes in there. David Hall, though, our Spider, not as good a start as he got last time.
Oh, he had to control that front wheel. He was still back up about a foot, maybe 18 inches off the ground, but you know, he struggles with those the starting few corners with tyre traction and that, so just a little bit more subdued, but still David Hall, mate. I've seen him with a 350 Honda from about 1972. Also had some spectacular rides around here. I think he's won round here on a classic bike, but right now we're looking at the leaders of the Formula 2 class, and Toby Summers got about 8 bike lengths as they come towards the overbridge here at Whanganui for the final Formula 2 race of the season. Number 22's Carl Cox Motorsport sponsored Toby Summers, followed by 28 Shane Richardson. The battle's on. Rogan Chandler's getting hunted down by David Hall, and almost brushing the airbags there is, I think, Ashton Hughes from Fielding on the number 92 thing. Formerly from Greymouth, did so well in Greymouth street races this year. I think he got some wins in the Bears class and some second places on the Open Formula 1 behind Jay Lawrence. But we're looking over to the Suzuki S as the lead 2 bikes go there. Shane Richardson's hunting down. He's had some good moments at Whanganui, some great moments at Whanganui. Remember a couple of years ago he hit the hay bales there out of next corner after Roberts Island and threw away his chances for the season. But right now it's a series winner. He'll be hunting. He'll still want line honours. Toby Summers 22, Shane Richardson 28. We're looking back for Rogan Chandler, number 15. And then 34, David Hall. 3 bike lengths between first and second, about 6 or 7 between third and fourth, 15 and 34. And there is Ashton Hughes on the Triumph 675. There's Zara Wiki 18, followed by local man Sam Willisey as well, the 96 machine, the Suzuki GSXR 600.
Courtesy of Gorilla Graphics, Mixler Tyres and Suzuki New Zealand. Go Sam Willisey, come on Whanganui, great to see the result out there. It's quality of of course, event organiser now, Flea Willisey. Flea's got some great memory of Flea around here on bikes, like his Ducati, also his little Honda GP bike that he had here, but son Sam showing his excellence on a 600. I'll tell you what, at the sharp end of the field, if we go to the tracks like Manfield and Taupo, some of the more accomplished, faster guys are better, but he's knowing how to ride it in these tighter conditions. It takes a better rider to be a winner here at Whanganui, and that's exactly what Sam Willisey's doing at the moment. 22 by 28, there we go. The Toby Summers, Shane Richardson show out in front. Now the next battle coming through here. 15 Rogan Chandler with the 34 of David Hall, then looking to the lonely 92 of Ashton Hughes out there. Back to Zarin, and keep your eye 96, go Sam Willisey.
0.1 of a second separates first and seconds in terms of lap time. In the last lap, it was just 0.008 of a second between 15 and 34. That's the lap times, and they're now matched on the track. You'll see them coming up to the Suzuki crossing there right now, and it is 15 followed by 34, but 0.008 of a second or thereabouts there between those 2 bikes. They're ding-donging it out. David Hall got ahead of Rogan Chandler in the last race. Will it happen? And remember too that Shane Richardson was out in the front. He's now following 22 Toby Summers on the R&R Power Sports, Mad Love Media, Carl Cox Motorsport machine. They come to the overbridge there. Different riding styles. Toby Summers is doing the Motards as well. He's got his hands up on the handlebars. Shane Richardson's tucked right in. What a battle for first and
David Hall almost off the bike, Spider. Wow, what a tank snapper there. And that flipped his butt off, and he was hanging right out the side of the bike. The bike was going straight, but his body had to take that fraction to catch up to the bike as well. So David Hall, talk about loose from those 2 starts, but I tell you what, even looser on the bike, but mainly he's staying on the bike and staying there.
Right, we had about, I think, a 0.1 of a second gap between first and second going over the start line. It's opened up a little bit through the Suzuki S's out towards Robert Holden corner. Toby Summers, 22, still leads. Shane Richardson will be looking for a place to pass, but he's also got to get past him, but he's got to get past them safely as well. But he'll also be thinking about that points and winning the series on the Mirror.
No change there, Spider. There we go, 22-28. Tell you what, a nice battle to look out to as well there on the racetrack at the moment is 16 and 33. What's so good about those two? One's from Invercargill, the other's from Dunedin. So here they are, the boys that are out of their comfort zone in a track that are not used to riding. In fact, I'm pretty sure for both of them it's their first time ever here at the Cemetery Circuit. So great to watch and good to, oh, there we go, 96 to get it, Sam. Yes, Sam Willisey in front of Zarin. Oh, what a ride. Sam Willisey, can he keep it on though? So Sam Willisey now making the move on the flying 18. We know how good that Zarin has been, so check it out at the moment because that is a move to go. So Sam Willisey in front of Zarin Wiki and that change going on and looking then at David Hall. David Hall trying to get back. You've been watching his riding style, Spider. How does the guy that has near off like that, but they don't even put him off?
Oh, David Hall got the punch out of the out of the S's into the Robert Holden corner, made a pass, run wide. I don't know how he got back in front, but they're coming towards the overhead bridge at the moment. There's 3 bike lengths between third and fourth. David Hall on the Suzuki, Rogan Chandler on the Yamaha New Zealand bike. The Suzuki's a 2011 model. The Yamaha's the latest thing off the shelf and absolutely outstanding riding. Back over to the Suzuki corner, the Suzuki crossing. Still is Toby Summers, Shane Richardson on the Miratone, Kawasaki. Boyle Kawasaki, number 28 there. We're looking out for third and fourth, going off that back straight there. And David Hall is in front with Rogan Chandler in second place. He's held on to that third place he's got there, Neil Ritchie.
Oh, great to watch this battle in the front, and just when you think that it's going to be Toby all the way, you all of a sudden see that Shane Richardson literally on his tail, super tight, super close and super close. Siding, they come into the Pirelli overbridge, and there's an example of it. 22-28, wouldn't even be a bike length between them as they go to the line. Check it out. Whoa, how was that? And it's all on. We're going to see the official result to get an idea of an update, but I tell you what, that is nothing. Toby has done it by 0.059. Oh, there you go. 5/100ths of a second, nothing in it because it was all on. I said it was less than a bike length here. And why was that? Because it was a better drive through the corner then by the flying 28 Shane Richardson. He's got the title. He's taken the win in this class after finishing second last year on the Kawasaki New Zealand Motard, Pirelli Shod, Whanganui, Joinery, Race Supplies, Wellington Pipelines, Shoei Miratone, NWR Filters, Strip and Wet supported Kawasaki ZX6R. But I tell you what, the 22 of Toby Summers pushed him all the way home. And if Toby had not had that DNF for race 1 at Taupo 2 weeks ago, what a whole different championship I believe it would have been. But congratulations to Shane Richardson, winning where he couldn't quite win it overall. Yes, he had a great day at Whanganui last year, but he couldn't quite win that series. But Shane Richardson, take a bow. A season in America, he's done well as we cross to Terry Stevenson. Over
okay, Neil, we're down in pit lane, and Toby Summers, mate, you just about lost that on the line.
Yeah, that was close. I knew he was there. I think he let me win. He don't need the points. He knows I do. He's a good friend.
Sure, but he pushed you the whole race. You knew he was there, didn't you?
Yeah, I knew it was there. And I made a couple of little errors, but not quite enough. I knew he was on my pipe. He was there. It was interesting. It was good. I knew unless I made a big mistake, I knew the position he's in for the championship. He's not going to throw it away on the last race. But no, I just want to say a massive thanks to Carl Cox for letting me ride the bike. There he is over there, the big boy. And did someone say party?
Hey, well, you stopped Shane's run of 5 wins. So, where are you headed now after this?
To the pub.
Racing.
No. Hopefully, I got an okay lap time to get onto the Robert Holden. Might go out and have a little spin in that, but then we go off to the Nationals. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Oh no, I've done a good job on the engine. It's quick. Just can't thank Carl, Gavin, all the team enough. Everyone's putting in a massive effort. It's great atmosphere in the pits. It's just actually enjoyable racing again.
You spent the last couple of years on the big bikes. To tell everybody, why did you move down to the smaller bikes again?
Just spent too much money last year and wasn't going to ride this year. Just going to hang out with the kids, and then then got an offer from Carl Cox's team, and here I am. So 2 wins. So I had a DNF in the first race, as we all know at Taupo. That's buggered my series, but I think I've got 3rd overall, which is, I guess, on the podium for missing 1 race out of such a short series is not the end of the world.
Indeed, Motard is back, 007 down here, the might of Mitch Rowe, and Mitch is going to ride on that bike. He's going to ride Summercross, Motocross next Saturday. Saturday's the 30th, and then he's going to be at Nelson a week today for the Nelson Street Race, back with his road tyres on it. So there you go, that's using your motorcycle. So he's going to do two road races and a motocross in the next 7 days. So,
and what brand of bike is it?
The KTM 450.
So it's eligible for beers as well.
Oh, well, yes.
It's eligible for beers, mate. How much money worth can you get out of a motorcycle?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
There's Connor Cummings in the bright orange and white leathers, looking for an improvement on him, as I think it's his first time on a Motard bike. And great to see him out there, great to see him out here. He's the man that had that huge crash on the Isle of Man that was on the TT3D movie. Just somersaulted over a cliff virtually, and the number of broken bones. He's a Manxman, an Isle of Man, not a resident, but he was born on the Isle of Man. And he's the fastest ever Manxman round the Isle of Man TT circuit.
Oh, it looks like a bit of carnage down on that first corner. If I didn't see that, hopefully not. People have just rushed across there, maybe a problem. But anyway, the field's still riding, and there's still a yellow being waved, but to nobody else. But that doesn't matter. Doesn't look like it's caused any drama to the rest in our field, but somebody has gone down on the first turn, courtesy of Bridgestone tyres and Bikes for Bits, along with Fuchs lubricant. So here we go. Yes, indeed, as Spider points out, Connor Cummings, and talking to Connor this morning, he has had some previous British Superbike experience in Supermoto racing, so has had some experience, which is better than none at all, but obviously not enough here at Whanganui. There is the Richie Devon show, heading towards the run for the front. Number 19, doing it all over again. Richie Devon, more importantly this year, every most race. Like the last few years, one with a crash and one with a mechanical breakdown, that he's missed out on an opportunity to show he is the number one Motard rider in New Zealand, and he's given the win on each of those occasions to the number 74 of Duncan Hart. But Duncan Hart out there on the Yamaha YZF 450 has to be conceding with second place overall this year. But Spider, Whanganui's hero Richie Devon on fire.
Oh mate, he's absolutely sensational. He's just been a cut above all the other riders this year. He's still got to finish, but I think he'll have a points buffer enough to do it. But great battling going on as well between number 13 and 710, Ben and Scott Dowman as well, the local boys. Who's going to get bragging rights at breakfast? I best goes. Dad's one round here too. Richie Devon comes to the overhead bridge, the overbridge, 119. Then it's followed by that is 63 and
Jet Josiah.
Jet Josiah.
Yeah, good ride from Jet. Absolutely brilliant. 63 and go for it for Jet. So moved himself up there. So Jet was one back. He's now launched himself one further forward. So gone from third place up into second place. Jet Josiah on fire on 63 on the Bike Talk Racing Nationwide Accessories. Yamaha YZF for 450. So Jet Josiah in an electrifying ride on that occasion. So bring it on for second place and keeping it up there. Jet Josiah, can he keep the competition at bay? The likes of the flying number 13 out there with Scott Dowman. So good ride. In fact, 74 not getting the race pace he wanted. So 74 maybe not able to get that second place Duncan Hart that he gets so many times. So we're keen to look out for it. Here's Letter W, two riders well back. We presume they're those that were caught up in the drama early on. But it's the Richie Devon show. Out there as he slides the Q and Honda sideways over the Pirelli overhead bridge. Looking back here to, oh no, it's Duncan Hart, 74 there. Jet's one back. And then we go to the 13 of Scott Dowman and his brother, Ben Dowman in there. And then looking back to the little jockey, the number 11 of Aidan Brown on the balance chart. The Accountants Harvey Roundup Motors, Metzler B&T supported. Suzuki RMZ 450. So good riding out there, but again, 119 and the flying Jet Josiah out there. The father and son, what's it looking like? Jet Josiah, we know how well Jet's doing, Spider.
Well, last race it was 4th and 8th. Now it's 3rd and 7th. So they both moved other place, but they're moving further up the field. So absolutely sensational, especially that Russell didn't do the first round of the Suzuki Series, and Taupo went to Manfield last weekend. But father Russell Josiah, his brother-in-law to Simon Crafer as well. Simon Crafer, our legend, the last Kiwi to win a MotoGP, and the news is that Simon Crafer is now going to be a MotoGP commentator. So listen out for our legend Simon Crafer there. But right now on the track it is still Richie Devon, 119 out in the front. Let's have a look at the lap times. I've got an idea they'll be nowhere near lap record because it's just that wind and the track temperature's around 33. It's gone up a little bit, but a 50.7, not enough for a actually, let's have a look at that. We need to check the lap records.
Yeah, can do that.
It's very windy up here, so we're struggling with paperwork, unfortunately, but we do have lap records somewhere amongst our paperwork. But right now, Richie Devon, followed by Duncan Hart, Jet Josiah, Scotty Dowman, Ben Dowman, Aidan Brown on 11. Mitch Rowe has gone through ahead of Russell, Josiah and Roundtree and Will Young. A 50.905 for the Supermoto, and that's Richie Dibbett. Okay, we've got a new lap record. Where have we got? A 50.722, 50.722, our only lap record today. I tell you what this is all about. The big bikes going, all the big bikes with fairings on will be going down the straight, whereas these have got a little bit wind resistance possibly and a little bit slower, so certainly a new lap record for Richie Dibbett. That'll be a bonus for him as well as the series win.
Well, what about the fact here, Spider, as well? We've got these riders in their various ways. We talked about that top group. What about the second group at the moment? Because Russell Josiah is right there banging bars with Mitch Rowe at the moment. The two of them will be over 100 years of age when you add their ages together, so look out for that for banging bars out there. Mitch Rowe, oh, Russell's got him, Russell's there! Yes, Russell Josiah. Russell Josiah overtaking Mitch Rowe. He won't take that too nicely, but the former Superbike champion and Russell Josiah coming in a superb result, getting ahead of Mighty Mitch on that result, so a good improvement there. So there we go, Richie Dibbett, Duncan Hart, now looking to Scotty, back to Ben, then going to 11, Aidan Brown as well. Jet Josiah's dropped back 4 places. What's happened there? Dropped back 4 placings, so bad luck to Jet Josiah. And here we go now with Russell. Yes, Russell Josiah. What a ride from the Tamanui man on the Bike Talk Racing RMZ 450. And as well, Spider dipping in his pocket. He's a sponsor of the event as well. There's a Suzuki dealer up there in the King Country capital of Tamanui. So we love Russell Josiah.
Yeah, an all-round good guy, great mechanic, and as I say, former New Zealand Superbike champion and a number of wins round the cemetery. So you'll see the photo of him in the latest cemetery circuit book. Unfortunately, they're sold out, but they will get some more copies. Here's the white flag for Richie Dibbett. 1 lap to go. 1 lap to go here at Whanganui. We're looking out for second place, and it still is, I think, number 74, Duncan Hart. There's a lapper, I think, number 610. Yeah, it is 13, 7, 10, 11.
Back with Jet there at the moment, so it is Scott Dowman, Ben Dowman and Aidan Brown with the other ones in there, going back to Jet Josiah. And here we go. Oh, Mitch has got it back. Mitch Rowe re-overtakes Russell Josiah. 23 in there with Anthony Roundtree. Go out Roundtree on the Harvey Round Motors, Isuzu Protector Insurance, B&T Bike Talk, Balance Accountants, YZF 450 and Roundtree. In some very good competition there at the moment. Keen to look out for the others in that group as well, the likes of James Clark for Fastway Couriers, and as well local track builder extraordinaire, the great coach Dave Scott, because he's hoping to be able to get up in the 10th. And here we go, checkered flag for Richie Dibbett. And looking at that bike battle going on out there. Coach has got up to 11 and he's 2 in front of James Clark there at the moment, 2 places. He needs 4 points overall for the day, and he got 2 in the last one and 2 in this one. Maybe that's enough overall. There we go, 13-10. 7-10 along with the 11 of Aidan Brown. Look at two brothers cross the line, separated by probably 2 1,000ths of a second. And there we go with the flying 63 to do it. So well done there to Jet Josiah coming home. And here we go, Mitch Rowe, Russell Josiah and Roundtree. And Mitch Rowe, whoa, Mitch Rowe to do it, I don't know. Might have been the longer legs through there of Russell Josiah. No, Mitch Rowe got it. So Jet Josiah 6th. Mitch Rowe in the 7th, 007 for 7, and then the number 12 of Russell Josiah gets the next placing. So tight, fast and exciting down there, Spider.
Yeah, I think it's overdue, Terry Stevenson, just as we see Richard Dibbett, I was going to say Jay Dibbett, Richard get his helmets off. Over you, Terry.
All right, we're down pit lane with Richie Dibbett. Richie, you didn't... This is your Suzuki series, mate. You earned that one. Well done.
Yeah, no, I had a pretty good run this year. Bike was flawless, and I mean today turned out not too bad. So pretty happy with that, and the way I rode. So couldn't ask for much more, really.
You lost the last couple of Suzuki series through error. What were you trying to do this time? There was a gap between you and a whole suburb between Duncan and yourself.
I just try to be consistent and just make sure the old bike gets through really, and no crashes. So pretty happy with that, and having good fun out there and getting loose. So it's all part of it.
Yeah, you didn't want to slow down at all?
Nah, might as well just go for it.
Okay, you're looking at a bigger bike next year, maybe a 600?
Yeah, hopefully try keep at this old girl, and so much fun out there on that on this track. So try get on a 600 next year, and we'll see how that goes.
Well, Toby Summers did it successfully. He won the last race in Formula 2, and he was pretty good challenges for you in Supermoto.
Yeah, no, he was meant to. We had some good battles around here, so I mean, yeah, hopefully I can adapt to that bike all right, and yeah, I'll train all next year, and hopefully, yeah, be towards the front on the 600 will be quite nice, so we'll see how we go.
The borrow bike, and it was an amazing performance on the borrow bike. It was actually Sloane Frost's borrow bike, a machine that he had never raced on before, and he still went out and won it. So great performances. He's only, oh, somebody's putting their hand up. Somebody's putting their hand up. So it's going to be well, luckily they're all going to go around him. They're all going to go around him. It's a green tail, but it's black leathers. Didn't quite recognise him.
Yeah, that's Adam Chambers, unfortunately. Well done to him. Puts both hands up. Everyone saw him. And off for a start. Looks like he's going to catch up the field. Something going on there, but all right. Let's look down to the back straight and see who's into the lead at the moment. We've got a red flag. We've got a red flag situation. Red flag. That's the first red flag during racing today, isn't it, Neil?
It is indeed. And, well, I wouldn't have thought that would have been a red flag issue. Somebody, okay, they've just said, hey, they've regarded that as not fair. Now, that's a good call, because what happened is the other riders around Adam would not have had a very good getaway. I think that's a good call.
Oh, yeah, and that's
based around safe
place forever. You know, like I could even see a bit of blue sky in the distance. I looked at the weather forecast this morning. 10 mil an hour rain I was predicting, and we had a bit of damp in the, or wet in the conditions this morning. That just calmed everyone down. We had very little crashes for practice. Normally in the hot, dry conditions we get a lot more crashes, but here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 red lights go on. It's out. The starter's on again, and when Adam Chambers has got away, all right, there's Lee Johnson with the bright pink helmet. He's got a good position up there, Neil Ritchie.
Yeah, he has indeed. In fact, that's a scorching start. He did it again last time, but good to get away again. Watching out for 52. There's 37. Oh, look at that. 52, 37 sideways in the corner. In fact, they both put each other wide. I wouldn't be surprised if whoever was in third place has come through. In fact, it was Scotty Moyer. Scotty Moyer was in third place, but those two, and it's because they were both, nobody was going to give up. Nobody was playing chicken when it came to that first corner, and they went through there side by side, and they actually nudged each other accidentally, and all of a sudden they had to drop the power off to get their control back again, and that gave the gap to the brilliance of the flying number 8, Scotty Moyer. So Scotty, can he do it, and can he stay there in front? Can this man go all the way and win his first ever Suzuki Series? A real opportunity to do so here for the young Taupo motorcycle mechanic. 8 in front for Scott Moyer, 37.52 they know before, and then we look out to a chopper in there. Yes, Lee, the nickname for Sloane Frost, and a very good 5th place there at the moment. Daniel Medham squeezed in front of him, Lee Johnson behind him, and Adam Chambers, that man who had the false starts, done well to end up in 7th place with Mitch Reeser behind him. But I tell you what, there's still a love affair out there, 37 and 52 with Jay Lawrence and Hayden Fitzgerald. They're still nudging each other, Spider.
Oh, definitely. Look at that lead that Scotty Moyer's got. All these other people battling it out have slowed themselves down a little. 52. Hayden Fitzgerald there in 2nd place as he come out of the S's, but already possibly a 1 second buffer for Scotty Moyer. He's won 3, I think, or at least 2 Superbike races around here, Formula 1 races, and also many races on the Formula 3 bike, and also Motards as well. Scotty Moyer from Taupo on the Carl Vandermeer Builders GSXR 1000, and there it is, Jay Lawrence in 2nd place with 52, Hayden Fitzgerald. Daniel Medham followed, I think, boys. There's someone in front of Sloane Frost that I don't quite recognise at the moment. Just going to look over the weekend. Oh, well, that's Lee Johnson. He's coming on fire at the moment. He hasn't won an Isle of Man TT, but he won a Manx Grand Prix on MV Augusta. So Lee Johnson, man, there in 5th place. And don't forget the Robert Holden Memorial will come up. He will surely be gridded a little bit higher than where he was and have a better chance of doing it. But right now in 5th horse, in fact, Sloane Frost has passed him. Sloane Frost has passed him there for 5th and 6th. But right now, all eyes on Scotty Moyer coming out of the Robert Holden corner there here at the Cemetery Circuit for the final Formula 1 race of the 2017 Suzuki Series. It still is Jay Lawrence on another Carl Cox machine, the Carl Cox sponsored number 37 Pirelli tyre shot. There it is, 52. Hayden Fitzgerald, 34. Daniel Medham, Sloane Frost on the number 2 bike, the letter L, and I think that's Adam Chambers there. In behind him with Mitch Rees on number 6. In behind him, I think, is Glenn Scatchell, number 47.
That's an absolutely brilliant race out there at the moment, because Scotty Moyer's got it all under control. All came from the drama in that early part of the race when 37 and 52 nudged shoulders down there when they tried to both go through the corner, because nobody was going to give up, and that allowed the gap on the inside. He went for a quick dab down into B&T Fuchs Lubricants corner. That's turn number 2, and then all of a sudden it was the gap to open up, and Scotty took it. In fact, he had to almost
Sorry, Neil. Just cut in. Connor Cummins pulled in. He's pulled in.
Oh, thank you, Terry. Thank you, Terry. So Connor Cummins out of the race at the moment. Back to our race at the moment. 8 to go, 37. Now looking at 52. There's 34. Medham with 2. go to L, go to 64. 6 is in there and 47, and that's the ride again from Mitch Reeves, but in behind him going to Glenn Scatchell. Scatchy riding it by Motor YB8. And how good is that from the big Yamaha powered unit? And you said it before, Spider, that that bike's still capable of winning and being right up the front end of a field in our Formula 1 class, and that's proving to be exactly the case here at the moment. So 47 Glenn Scatchell, not on the ZX 10R. That bike's got a broken rear shock. So the Webster Racing Metzler Tyres California Superbike School, Chris Park and Kawasaki New Zealand supported ride has now gone back to the Bimotor and giving nothing away to the man who this time last year was winning F3 races here at the legendary cemetery circuit Whanganui in Suzuki, a way of life.
All right, oh, it's closing up at the front. Wow, it's closing up quite substantially. Scotty Moyer's got the lead. We go back about 0.5 of a second, 0.6 of a second to Jay Lawrence. A 49.570 for Scotty Moyer, 49.340 for Jay Lawrence in second place. We go back to Hayden Fitzgerald, Daniel Medham, Sloane Frost, Lee Johnson, Adam Chambers, Mitch Rees, Glenn Scatchell and Jamie McDonald on the number 77 Yamaha in 10th spot, followed by Dylan Telford, Alistair Hugenboozem on the M1 Motorsport BMW Valvoline sponsored bike. In fact, he's been pipped into 12th place by Livio Zamperia. Out of the S's, all the bikes come. In fact, into the S's, yep. Out of the S's comes Scotty Moyer. It's closing up, it's closing up. We can't see it on the screen at the moment, but when we come over the overbridge before down the start-finish straight, 0.675 for second. Jay Lawrence has got in front. Jay Lawrence has gone through to the front.
Wow.
And he is absolutely on fire. Won the Greymouse Street races this year. Wet conditions in the morning, but rode exceptionally well and won that. But right now he's got out there in the front in the final race of the series for the Formula 1 2017 Suzuki Series. 0.6 of a second, so that's about 0.9 of a second. He's got ahead a 49.340, 0.3 of a second off the lap record.
Wow.
In windy conditions like that on a cold track, we're running about 33 to 34 degrees Celsius. I didn't think it was lap record conditions for the superbikes, but we are getting relatively close there. How many laps we got to go, Neil? We got 2 laps to go. Jay Lawrence, 37, retired from racing for a number of years with a broken arm and that, and come back and then broke his neck and broke a few other things, including other people's bike. But Jay Lawrence is absolutely on fire on the overhead bridge. There he goes, the white flag is out. We can't quite see the white flag, but it definitely says on our thing, 1 lap to go. So that's at a 1.9 second buffer. Scotty Moyer knows he can't beat this at the moment, so he's sort of backed off. But look at that, 7 bikes go through turn 1. And in amongst that, we can see Sloane Frost, and of course the bright big helmet of Lee Johnson from the UK.
Well, look at that 37. That is incredible. It's as if something's happened for Scotty Moyer. I think something's not quite 100% for him. You wouldn't see him slowing up that much in the race. Still holding on to second. He's looked strong enough for second place. But the way that Jay Lawrence has just bolted clear, it gives us the idea that something not quite as perfect. Or if I take nothing away from Jay Lawrence's performance, I've loved this guy since I saw him as a kid in junior motocross, and he's come on as a talented hotshot. Look at this for the 37. Here we go with Jay Lawrence getting his first ever big time win here at Whanganui. Will it be the one that counts here in a moment? And here we go with the charge for that second place, and that's what I said before, because all of a sudden 52, I think he sniffed it. I think Hayden Fitzgerald said, hey, I want to have a go for that second place, and he almost did the dad down on the inside to get through on the flying number 8 of Scott Moyer. So Scott doing very well to hold on to that second spot. So there it is for what you effectively call an outsider. And look at the cheers going out there. Ladies and gentlemen, putting your hands together, that is fantastic. Thoroughly deserved. And Jay acknowledges the crowd in return at the moment. I've been quickly humming down the points in this F1 lineup. We'll try and see if we can pick them up. I didn't go through my paperwork. I can't put it down because it'll just get blown away. And the breeze and all of the results that I've got are everything but, unfortunately, the Suzuki F1 class. So we're not quite sure how close it is, but I think that second's still good enough for Scott. But Terry will let us know, I'm sure.
Oh, certainly, and Jay Lawrence is featured further down in the field, so now he's taken away 22 points from the others. So the buffer there will be quite large for Scotty Moyer. So he's down there he's down there. Terry Stevenson might be talking to him, but certainly the man of the moment at the moment is Jay Lawrence on the 37 machine. Over to you, Terry Stevenson.
Well, who would have guessed? Jay Lawrence, you won your first race on a big bike, and you didn't loop it like you did last year.
I reckon we should just do Race 2 Whanganui, all races every year. No, it was good. It was good, and I was much more sensible on the warm-down lap this time.
So tell us about your race. You know, you followed Scotty for a while. You chased him down. You know.
Yeah, well, in the first race, I thought I was pretty much on my limit to stay with Scotty, Daniel, and Hayden. And that one I got a better start. Kind of pleased for the red flag because my first start was a shocker. And with a decent start, I kind of got to Hayden and saw where I was stronger and got past him, and I thought, well, Scott's gone, and then I started reeling off the laps, and I'm watching my lap timer, and that's looking good, and Scott's getting closer, and I'm thinking, well, it'd be mad not to have a go.
Well, I put you down as a dark horse to win here today, and you didn't prove me wrong.
Thank you very much, Terry.
Hey, tell us about how you come across your bike, getting on the big bike and stuff. Carl Cox Motorsports is one of your big sponsors?
Yeah, I've got to thank Carl Cox Motorsport and Carl himself, who's here today, for the immense support they've given me. TSS Red Baron as well. It might be a place of employment, but they're bloody good at helping with the bike and the bits and stuff. So thank you to everyone who's made it possible to be here 2 years in a row.
Well done, Joe Lawrence.
Hopefully,
Scott Moyer, you won the Suzuki Series, hands down, mate.
Yeah, no, I was pretty happy with that. I thought I might have had that last one. My lap board said 2 seconds, and then next thing I'm getting past. But hey, I'm happy with that. Jay was riding pretty quick. Hey, it's awesome to have another Suzuki winning, that's for sure. So he could have it. He was riding good.
To be honest, it looked like you're...
Yeah, but set up a second, I knew that was good enough for the championship.
Motorcyclists that have done that, so well done to Jay. Thoroughly enjoyable. Still got the Robert Holden to come, and what's that done to the Robert Holden? That's just opened up the whole thing, Spider, because all of a sudden, who's going to win it? You've got to say there's probably, 4, 5, 8 riders, up to 8 riders that could easily win that race in the right circumstances, because if you were to go through a top 5 last time, would you put Jay Lawrence in it, and he's won it and proved anybody can win it today?
Well, he's not anybody, just anybody. He just proved it, but I think it just shows that he's come to grips with that bike. He's been up testing it in all sorts of the country, even been down to Ruapuna, and of course he won the Grey Mouse street races, so he's just getting confidence. It's a big job to set up all the electronic equipment on these bikes, and it's massive, and congratulations to Jay, and I hope his father Andrew's here to see him win that race.
Yes, Andrew, a man I've had a huge amount of respect for over the years, enjoyed working with him. He was a long-time representative with Derby, and we used to have the great Derby Spectro Winter Motocross series of many years, and Andrew was always a man at the forefront. We worked alongside him religiously, and great to see.
Yoshi Kishimoto gets out in the front on the electric bike, followed closely, I think.
We've
got 2 bikes down in turn 1, 3 bikes down in turn 1. And all riders are up, but I'm pretty sure this will be red flagged. In fact, already a red flag. Good on you, people. Good on you for catching that one. The yellow flags are waving, so we've got 3 bikes at the tail end there. So Yoshi Kishimoto early leader there, and Nathaniel Diprose followed, I think, by Ashley Payne, the winner of the last race here in the Formula 3 class. Was called Ultralight at the New Zealand Superbike Championship. I think they're calling it Superlight.
Superlight,
yeah.
Superlight, I think. Light, L-I-T-E.
Yes.
Superlight, yeah.
That's right, sorry. Yeah. New Zealand Superbike Championships, Ruapuna, in about just over a week, in about 10 days, first round. Well, I tell you what, folks, I said to Neil Rich earlier, we should write down the fastest lap time for a lap record. I says, it probably won't matter because it's going to rain this afternoon. Well, how wrong was I? The temperature's gone up a little bit. I think we're running around a 1:07 for the lap record last time. And it'll be interesting to see what the lap times are now for the Gixxer Cup class.
And we'll add to that the Gixxer Cup as well. Blake Ross, not with us today, too young at 83 points. Clark Fountain, not with us today, too young at 76 points. Tarbin Walker with us today at 70 points, but he hasn't been overly dominant. I don't think he's scraped the top 5 yet. Michael Wilson is 4th overall at 53. He's done better. This man, Thomas Newton, 52 points, 5th place, and there he is with an awesome win in that first race. So we're going to have a big change of our points today, Spider.
Look at that, 14 horsepower, and there was a huge wheelie off the start line there.
No, 17 was the Mead Speed titanium exhaust, gave an extra 3 horsepower. There you go.
Oh, Mead Speed supporting this class. They made up all the pipes. There's a couple of different people running different options here, but have a look at Mead Speed. His work, they're not titanium, but the work on his titanium is absolutely exceptional. Makes beer cups and coffee cups as well. He gave me a coffee cup. I don't drink coffee, but that's all right. I just fill it up twice as often with beer and what the workmanship, the craftsmanship, and such a good guy to deal with. He's been at all arounds supporting the Gixxer Cup boys in case they need any welding and stuff like that.
There's our 34 in front again, Spider, but we still don't know what happened last time because he just vanished. But there was nothing on the screen. I don't think he had a crash or anything like that, but Thomas Newton did not get those points, and that's critical to him. Maybe that's going to count as a race that he wasn't there for. So I'd love him to actually get a win because he is exceptional in our practice qualifier today in the wet conditions. Unbelievable. Look at this for a bit of knee sliding racing. 34 leading it right over with 37 to run in there with him as well. And there's a good example of it as well. So there we go, back to Hunter Stoneman Ball. Now Hunter got a third place. There he is, 17th place out of the 19 competitors overall for Hunter in this series, and he's well back. Not with us at round number one. What did he get from Whanganui? Sorry, Manfield, 19 points. So nothing in it at all, Spider. So,
yeah, it was unavailable to compete at Taupo round, so that sort of doesn't reflect his true ability. And certainly on the streets, Hunter Stoneman Ball might be outstanding there in the first race, and we've got another race in front of us. There's Tarbin Walker up there, I think, in about 4th or 5th place. What did we have in the first lap? It was Thomas Newton, Hunter Stoneman Boyle, JP Sabret, Zach Fuller, Tarbin Walker, Michael Wilson, Harry Parker, Matt Groff, Braden Hopton, Cameron Goldfish, Will Derby, Hoffman, Scotty Hawkes, and Joshua Hodson there in 13th place. So a lot of spares too. The Suzuki New Zealand carries each round spare foot pegs, a number of spares. So if these guys go over, they've got all the spares in the truck. A very good price. A foot brake bucket, for example, $40. Neil Ritchie, you watch that over the overbridge.
Yeah, indeed, that's absolutely exceptional. Thomas Newton, folks, is leading over that far on the left-hander coming over the Pirelli overbridge that he has got his right foot off the foot peg because he's leaning his body so far off the bike that his thigh is actually touching the seat because his bum's hanging completely off the bike. And these are on a 17 horsepower Suzuki GSXR 150. Absolutely incredible the way that they're riding. And for Thomas, for whatever his bad luck, had a non-finish in the last one, and we don't know what happened, but I tell you what, he's come back better and stronger and faster and flying more than he ever did before. So great to watch. And I think this will be the man that'll set a scintillating lap time and hopefully the one to lock and load. And I'll tell you what, if anybody can beat this next year, they'll be doing well as well because this man's setting it on fire. So there we go. Thomas Newton, Hunter Stoneman Boyle, JP Sabritz ahead of Zach Fuller, who got the second last time. He's back and forth ahead of Tarbin Walker. Go to Michael Wilson, the Invercargill man, from Harry Parker out of Timaru. Then go to Matt Bro along with Cameron Goldfinch, Braden Hobden, and 21's down. That's JP Sabritz, the winner of the last race.
Okay, the main thing is he's up and he's off his bike. He went down into the airbags at Roberts Island. Looks like he's probably gone over the actual traffic island there. The way he went in, it's an unusual place to crash, but down. But the main thing is he is up, so that's carved up the points a little there too, Neil Ritchie.
Well, what's that going to do for the Cup for the day? Because somebody that's potentially not going to win a race is going to be our day winner because JP's won the first race and not finishing the second. Thomas might be winning the second, but didn't finish the first. So there you go. Could be the consistency. Zach Fuller. Put your money on Zach Fuller and Hunter. There'll be those two to fight it out for the overall. There you go.
Zach Fuller, Hunter. I got no money, Neil. I'm a commentator. I've got no money. I've spent most of my month at race meetings. 5 days at Timaru, 4 days at Taupo, 3 days at Manfield, another 3 days here at Whanganui, off to Nelson in a week, and then down to the New Zealand Superbike Championships. But so what is the story with the Cup here? I know they've got the Gixxer Cup for the combined Suzuki Series and the New Zealand Championships, 4 rounds, and I think there's $5,000 prize money. But they've also got if they got a cup for the Whanganui or the Suzuki Series.
Yes, something for the Suzuki Series, I understand. Whether it's a separate cup, unsure, but I get that idea. Yep. Let's say yes, Spider, to answer your question.
We'll find out because there is a prize giving in the pits after this for the Robert Holt Memorial and the Formula 1 and Formula 2 and the Gixxer Cup as well, Neil Ritchie.
Yes, indeed. Bring it on with Suzuki and a way of life in these fabulous little bikes that have been turned into a race-bred motorcycle. As you can see by them, they've all got them. In fact, go and Google these folks. Go and Google them. And as Spider was talking about in the previous race commentary, that you watch what the Asians have been doing with these bikes. They're absolutely, of course, they are wringing wet at about 35 kgs of weight. Well, that's one part of it. And the other factor is there's so many of them, and the racing that they have around their little tight circuits, that they're just all over each other. In fact, I'm sure they'll be on the World Wide Web watching this kind of racing going on at the moment, saying, look at what our little little Gixxers are doing over in little old New Zealand. So great to see here. The Gixxer Cup, the new era of racing, and they've been doing it all around the world. The Asians are loving it, and we're now on the bandwagon here in New Zealand. Away, maybe it's your son, your nephew, your grandson to get involved in motorcycle sport. All of these kids have never raced the cemetery circuit before. And look at this man, Thomas Newton, defying gravity as he hangs off the bike and gets it right down over the overbridge. 33 to go with 37 out there as well. So the 33 up there was Zach Fuller. That'll be a change. So Zach Fuller's going to get there ahead of Hunter. Hunter Stoneman Boyle, the young Whanganui man. So Taupiri Zach Fuller on the Kiwi Rider supported bike. Great run from him with a lap to go as well. And that time at a 105.4 Spider, your recollection of that last lap time?
107 something. So that's nearly 2 seconds quicker. So that's interesting. But looking at, we've got a 105.4, 105.6 for first and second, a 106, then we go to 106.079, so there might be a change of position between fourth and third, although there was a 4-second gap. So we're on the final lap of the Gixxer Cup. Thank you, Simon Meath. Thank you, Suzuki New Zealand, for bringing this class to New Zealand, breeding future champions. And you mentioned granddaughters and sons and all that. What about grandsons? What about granddaughters and all that?
Oh, okay, sorry. Yes, thank you, Spider. Thank you for the correction. Yes, correct indeed. Yep. We'll take the ladies in this game. After all, we've got Avalon Biddle started on a little mini motorbike with miniature motocross. So with these kind of things, she could have got to road racing earlier. So there you go. Oh, look at that for Thomas. He's playing with the field. Looking back behind him. 33 with Zach. There he goes. Zach Fuller. Can he hold it out for Hunter? Hunter now trying to squeeze up on the inside. Watch for Hunter. Hunter Stoneman Boyle. And Hunter may be able to get on the inside of the next corner for Whanganui. Yes! And Hunter through there on the inside. Beautiful to watch as they're going down there. I'm surprised Hunter didn't do enough of the slipstreaming going on there, Spider. I thought we were going to see more of that.
Yeah, no, what did he do? It was first place for Thomas Newton, second place for Zach Fuller. Hunter Stoneman Boyle there, 6/100ths of a second there between second and third place. Sensational, this class, absolutely awesome. Yeah. You know, wheelie off the start. I remember one of the highest Sun Cup bikes, Endo at Timaru, 250cc bike, but and the guys get on well. It's a great class. 14 to 21 years old, 5995 for your bike and all your gear.
Okay, we're just here in pit lane. Thomas Newton, tell us about that ride. You were well out in front.
Just didn't have too good a first race. I was pushing a bit hard and lost the front end, so just decided to back it off a little bit in this one and finished the race and paid off, so yeah, happy.
You're from Pukekohe. Can you tell us your background? Where did you come from?
Yep, I'm from Pukekohe. I did motocross for 3 years, but this is my first sort of road racing experience doing the Gixxer Cup, so yeah.
So, look, well done, but why did you choose the Gixxer 150?
Well, I've been wanting to do road racing for a while, but I couldn't really afford to do it, so when the Gixxer Cup popped up, it was a good way for me to get into racing, but yeah.
So anybody else thinking out there wanting to get into it, what sort of advice would you give them?
Just go for it, really. I mean, just don't think about it, just do it.
It's a pretty good deal, isn't it? $6,000 more or less, and you get leathers, bell helmet, bike.
Yeah, no, it is a really good deal. It's an awesome package Suzuki New Zealand put together, and yeah, I'm really grateful.
Yeah, Adam Chambers, who had the false start, the number 6 of Mitch Rowe. Mitch Reeves, my apologies, who's forming his place on the line. So, wow, what a race. All of these riders, any of those names can be a winner. We've had 2 very different races today, 2 very different winners. I did not spot the number 8 in there. I'm sure he is, though. I'm sure he is. I've missed him. He was there. Thank you, Spider. Spider just said he was. I just didn't spot him. But, hey, here we go. The tote's closed, but who's your money on? Wow, I've heard people say today that Scott Moyer was going to win everything. Well, that's proved to be incorrect. Yes, he's won one and maybe the first one, but Jay Lawrence, and I think it could be a different rider to win this again. Is Sloan ready to go on form? Can Mitch Reeves fire it from back there? So many if, buts or maybes as they form up. Amazing field. 25 riders selected for this one. Not quite all of them there, but we're away to a great start, and it's all on to get into that first corner, and keen to look out for the field as they peel through there, and no sign of flags, which is always what we want to see, and that is great news. Oh, somebody overshoot. Somebody has overshoot. Shot down there. A green bike. Adam Chambers. Adam Chambers, I think the only green one we've got, so bad luck for Adam. So there it is. He's a very rare chance of winning it from there, but it doesn't matter. It's more important that we're back onto a race result. and checking it out at the moment for the 34 of young Daniel Medham, this young flying motorcycle mechanic out of Auckland. He too starting his life as a young mini motocrosser with the North Harbour Mini Motocross Club. He was a guest of the club at their annual event called the King of the North, held last March just north of Auckland, and as a young road racing hero, he was the man shaking the hands of all these young junior guys saying, hey, in mini motocross, I've done it and you can do it as well. Going on to win bigger things and like this. The 34 of Daniel Medham. The 34 of Daniel Medham. And he's streaking out there, but look at that coming from the number 8, Scotty Moyer, trying to get right around the outside. No, can't quite get through there at the moment. Dan Medham, Suzuki, Scott Moyer, Suzuki in there. Then we're looking back at the stage to our third place with Jay Lawrence in there on the Suzuki, David Hall on the Suzuki, and the first F2 bike with Shane Richardson behind him. That's amazing. A Suzuki clean sweep. 1, 2, 3, 4 of them through there. Shane Richardson there on the Miratone Kawasaki to get through in 5th place and out of that F2 class. And remembering the new Robert Holden trophy, not the Robert Holden Cup, but the Robert Holden trophy that we got, this new trophy. It was started for Super Mono Racing. Their first winner, I've forgotten his name, is it John Dawson? John Dawson won it first, Alan Cathcart second, I think, so away we go. So there we are, number 8 for Scotty Moyer. Moyer in front, 34 for Medham, he's dropped it back, and Jay Lawrence has moved up into 2nd place. So Dan Medham, he was there in first, but over the period of a lap, he's gone back to 3rd place at this stage. So Scott Moyer, Jay Lawrence, Daniel Medham, Shane Richardson moving up through there at the moment. So Suzuki 1, 2 and 3, and Jay Lawrence on attack spot. He's got a sniff at this, he knows he's in with a chance.
I've also looked at the track temperature. It's gone up about 9 degrees. It's 41 degrees. We are in lap record territory now. We're about 0.5 of a second, 0.4 of a second off. There's 2 lap records. There's a Robert Holden Memorial lap record, and that sits at the moment at 49.081. Great to be joined by the Holden family. Bet Holden, Robert's mother, she's I think 88 in about 2 days. Forgive me, Bet, if I got it wrong. I'm sorry, and thanks for the Christmas cake and all your love and support this year. Jan and Bridget and brother Glenn as well are here, as well as Kevin Maxwell, Robert's lifelong friend. They will be presenting the trophy tonight. So right here, the Robert Holden Memorial race, the 10 lapper there. They're going down the back straight there. 37, Jay Lawrence in the big red Carl Cox Motorsport bike. Can he get through Dan Medham? Dan Medham's, in fact, he's got to get past Scotty Moyer there. Where is Dan Medham there in the piece? Have we missed him?
Yeah, no, he's dropped right back. He's back in about 4th place now, so he dropped 2 places in the last lap. He's now dropped another one as well, so not quite the perfect score as he showed in the early stages, but it looks like we're going to have a race between the winners of our first 2 Formula 1 races. Scotty Moyer, who won the first, and then to 37 of Jay Lawrence, who won the second. So here we go, Talbot versus Wellington, red versus blue, but they're both on Suzuki in the GSXR 1000. So it is Suzuki out in front, Carl Cox Motorsport, looking up to Shane Richardson. Shane Richardson, 5th place, 4th place, and now into 3rd place. Looking for the podium, and that also is the Robert Holden Trophy Performance Spider.
Oh, definitely looking out for lap records. Lap times are a 49.122.1 of a second off the lap record. In fact, we're about 0.03 of a second off the lap, about 30 thousandths of a second. There's Scotty Moyer. I thought earlier on he might have had handling issues with his front end coming up to the overbridge, but the lap times proved me wrong. He's just pushing it that hard. Scotty Moyer won 2 Formula 1 races here, been itching to get that Robert Holden Memorial Trophy. He's out in the front of the moment, right behind him, Carl Cox Motorsport, number 37, Jay Lawrence there, and in behind him, I think it's Shane Richardson there in 3rd place there on the 28 machine. Wow, Scotty Moyer's opened up his lead. I get the idea that maybe Jay Lawrence run a bit wide somewhere. There it is, 3rd place, 28. We go back to 34, 34, Dan Medham, 34 is
David Hall.
David Hall, sorry.
The 234, 34 from F1, 34 from F2. That's why there's 2 bikes with the same number. And look out for Letter L this time, the fired up little Northern Irishman, the lovely little Lee Johnson. Have a conversation with Lee. You'll love his humour. You'll love the way the guy gets involved in the sport. And Man was here for a great spectator at Manfield last week. I'm sure he'll be here today. So check him out, Pitside, folks. There's another autograph you want to get. A former Isle of Man TT winner, of course, and Lee Johnson. So check him out. Lee Johnson on fire at the moment. The flying Letter L out there. He too, of course, on the Suzuki, heading great control and showing his class in amongst this field.
The lap record for Formula 2 is a 49.515. We've seen Shane Richardson go down to a 49.374. I don't know, it's not a Formula 2 race, so I don't know whether he's going to qualify for the lap record, but that's how hot Shane Richardson there is in 3rd spot here for the Robert Holden Memorial race with 4 laps to go. Right now it is Scotty Moyer, Jay Lawrence, Shane Richardson, Dan Medham, David Hall, Lee Johnson, Sloane Frost, Mitreed, Hayden Fitzgerald way back in 9th place as the screen changes there. Down there through the Suzuki, number 8 on the Carl Vandermeer Builders GSXR 1000. Taupo's Scotty Moyer, and still followed by Wellington's Lower Hutt, actually. Jay Lawrence there, mate. I thought Jay might have
Motorcycle mechanics and motorcycle mechanics and motorcycle mechanics, because that's Daniel Medham, Scotty Moyer and Jay Lawrence. That's their occupation as well. They live it and love it 7 days a week, Spider, and that's why they're racing so well. Great to watch out here. Here's the number 8. Come on, Taupo, Scott Moyer. Come on, Lower Hutt with 37 and Jay Lawrence. And then we check out a 26 in there with Shane Richardson back to 34. There's the other 34, so that's Moyer. Then go to the dairy farm and David Hall. Then looking out for LL. There goes Lee Johnson at the moment, and Lee fired up for his charge at the moment. Great ride from Lee Johnson. That is impressive to say the least. First time ever at the Cemetery Circuit. Oh so well ahead of Sloane Frost, Mitch Rees, Hayden Fitzgerald, Toby Summers, Connor Cummings, Glenn Scatchell, Rogan, Chandler, Adam Chambers. They're just some of the hot shots involved in this lineup. Anybody to win it, we're proving at the moment. And there's even Mark Perry and Zarin Wiki having their own race further at the back of the field. But I tell you what, all on for the fight for the glory, and look out for that F2 lineup, and a man super likely to get the inaugural, we're going to call it, Robert Holden Trophy. Has never been up for grabs in New Zealand before because it was made for racing overseas, but it's now come to New Zealand to be incorporated with the Robert Holden Memorial Cup as well. So we're all on here for these 2 Robert Holden trophies that we brought together as one.
Last year we had 25 people that qualified for the Robert Holden Memorial. Just 13 started, including 3 of the Rees family, Tony, Mitch and Damon. This year we've got 20 starters, so the action is on. The action's on, shows you the confidence. Lap times are slowing down. We had a 49.1. We're now down into about the 49.4s or 5. So Scotty Moyer controlling this race. So one wonders whether he's got any sort of pit boards out there for the Robert Holden Memorial Race here at the Cemetery Circuit for the legendary 2017 Suzuki Series. Looking out, coming out of Roberts Island onto the front straight, up towards the front straight. Scotty Moyer on bike number 8 there. He is going to go and take the white flag with a big wheelie down that straight there. Jay Lawrence is under pressure by Shane Richardson there. Can we see an F2 bike get second with the Robert Holden Memorial? We've seen Craig Sheriff's win it twice over the years on treaded tyres, nonetheless. Craig Sheriff's a 23 times winner here. The Robert Holden Memorial, the final lap there. We're watching them there. Going down through into the Suzuki S's, past the home of Suzuki New Zealand. Number 8, number 37, Shane Richardson. Number 28 there, a big gap back to 4th place. And it is indeed Daniel Medham. He's followed by David Hall, Lee Johnson, and I think that's Sloane Frost and Mitch Rees there on number 6 there.
All right, so there we go with 87, checking out Mark Perry back here along with Zarin Wiki out there on that little F2 bike today. A very courageous effort to be out in a big race like this. Delighted to see so many. Here we go for Scotty Moyer. Looking good, the number 8, pulling a wheelie down across the line. Jay Lawrence in there. Then go to Shane Richardson, the 2 Lower Hutt riders, and the big challenge for the run home. Then ahead of 34, then Medham ahead of the other 34, David Hall. Go to Lee Johnson. Outstanding effort from the Northern Irishman, and a great ride there. So Leonard Allen going for it. Great effort indeed as we look for the times at the moment. And best time 49.1 by Scott Moyer, 49.1. And so hasn't quite cracked that ultimate time, but I tell you what, very close to it, and great conditions to be cracking those kind of times here today. So well done to Scott Moyer. So Scott Moyer claims the race, and the Robert Holden, remembering it as a standalone performance of Robert Holden. It's not part of the Suzuki Series. It's a race in itself. The reason for that is because, of course, we want the winner to be the fastest man here today, so you take no pressure away of the other races in the series. It's a standalone event, which is why we had the fastest 25, which is why we had the Bears, why we had the F2 bikes, and why we've got this winning F1 bike as well. The day belongs to Scott Moyer.
All right, we're down at pit lane with Scott Moyer. Bloody good race win that was. Hey, you've knocked that the bastard off, really.
Yeah, I mean, the second race, you know, I just wanted to get through it, really not push my luck too much to secure the championship, and that one there. I mean, hey, we've got nationals in a few weeks, but nah, I mean, you gotta try hard to win that race. You know, it's one of those ones that not many people get to win. You know, so nah, right over the win today.
So what happened on the first lap?
What happened on the first lap?
Hayden and Jay got the, Daniel got the whole shot.
Yeah, Dan got the whole shot and he ran a bit wide on turn 2, and I just squared it up and just shot down the inside there. I thought, man, he's always a hard man to pass, but hey, you made a slip up, and you can't afford to do that around here. You make a slip up, you're going back a place. So yeah, she was a bit of an eventful start.
It was near lap record pace. Jay was pushing you a bit?
Yeah, well, my timer says nearly a 48.98. It could be within a hundredth or two, but that's my personal best lap time around here. So, over the moon. The new bikes, new 2017 Gixxer 1000, just unreal, it's awesome.
Hey, well done, Scott Moyer. And we've got Lee Johnson and Connor Cummings. Come on round, boss. Hey, welcome to Whanganui, Lee.
Yes, it's definitely an experience, but firstly I'd just like to say a big thanks to everybody at Suzuki, and especially Scott and his dad. Everybody's been welcome to me and sorting the bike out and everything, and even Sloan Frost for letting us in the awning and everything, so big thanks to them first of all, and then all the fans, and everybody's been so nice to us since we've been here, so really enjoying it.
And you like New Zealand? You said it's akin to Northern Ireland.
Yeah, the weather's slightly better, but the people are very much alike home, so yeah, it's so homely orientated, and everybody's just so nice, so yeah, we're really enjoying our time here.
Hey mate, you're on fire with your pace. What do you think of Whanganui as a circuit?
Interesting would be the best word. It's so technical, because maybe we misjudged it being short and maybe didn't realise how physical it was going to be, but yeah, you have to be so inch perfect and you can't allow for anything, so but the boys at the front are running top pace.
It's very impressive. It's all stop-start everywhere you go, but it's a really technical track actually. You've got to think quite a lot. It's bumpy, it's got everything in it, but it's just good fun, really good fun. So,
is it?
No, it doesn't really compare to it, but it's a spectacle of it. It's got everything in it. As I say, stop-start turns, some technical S-bends.
Don't have any railway lines on the Isle of Man either, do you?
Yes. Do cross some GT course. I'm used to it a little bit, but it's a great time.
Tony Rees and all his team and family put on a great show for us, so we're well happy and
in terms of point, the overall series is going to be, and prize money is for overall sidecars, but they are running a point system for Formula 1 and Formula 2, but right now all bets are off at the moment. It is the Cemetery Circuit, the final sidecar race of the day, and look at them, they're coming right up there. There was 24 entered, I'm not too sure how many we got here. Tony New and Dave McArthur there right at the tail of the field. They're enjoying their racing substantially, enjoying their new machine and learning the setup for it. And Reeves and Wilkes on pole position. Looks like to me Adam Unsworth and Bryce Rose there on the front row. Pole position is, you can choose which it is. Normally for solos it's on the inside and sidecars on the outside, but that's how they grid it up. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 red lights. We're waiting for it to go out. A jump start there for, I'd say that's Greg Lambert, jumping the start off the second thing. That's a clear jump start. Well, from me it was. Unless, no. Yep.
No, unconfirmed from our angle, Spider, but you knew what you were looking for, so that's great to see. But I tell you what, already they've got away to that superb start. Letter T with Tim Reeves and Mark Wilkes. Yes, in fact, third time lucky for the LCR 600, the F2 short chair of Carl Cox Motorsport. So when we say third time lucky, of course, 2 years ago, Mark Reeves had a crash on a motorcycle completely unrelated to our sport and actually broke his neck. Then, in fact, they had mechanical problems on their second trip. So it's third time lucky. They've not yet, the two of them on a sidecar together, finished the series here, so this could be a first for them. That's why we would say third time lucky. We wish them all the best. So Tim Reeves, world champion sidecar competitor, and watching this today is certainly something else. So there we go with letter T out to fly, then back to 8, go to 73. Look out for L this time with Greg Lambert down there, and then back to our number 1. Great to see, because that is of course Mike Taylor, and the swinger today Charles Bilby, and unfortunately Astrid out with a crash from Manfield a little over a week ago. But it is all on for the big bike battle here today, checking it out. But I'll tell you what, a better run this time from Spike Taylor as he's tried to match it amongst those big boys. But I'm liking Greg Lambert and Julie Canepa for their efforts they're doing on that GLR 600 as well, Spider. Nice to see those overseas riders competing well at sidecars, unlike what they do in two wheels.
Yeah, definitely. Unfortunately, the blackboard went out with the letter L on there, and it has come out, so that's warned them of a 20-second penalty will be imposed at the end of the race. But great to have them here, and I talked to Brad early on. I mentioned earlier on the race, he's got Mum on the front. His Mum passed away a couple of years ago, and when Mum met Dad, Dad says, I want to go out to New Zealand. Then she put the kibosh, so he always wanted to get to New Zealand. So hopefully Dad's around and watching this overseas. He'll be a bit embarrassed about that jump start, but right now They're on the track. They've got to get out there and do it. There's Spike Taylor trying up on the inside. Formula 1 versus Formula 2. There's bikes all the way through the field. Machine number 19, Gordy McEwen there on the beautiful green Thunderbird 2 coloured machine down that front straight, way back in about 12 laps. Case Enderveld come from Holland, I think, with Craig Pedersen on the bike we call Pinky. It's a former Isle of Man winner, a Formula 2 one that the Lawrence brothers used for years in New Zealand, and then Tracy Bryan with a number of passengers used, including her own husband as well. So it's good to see them pass that bike over to Case Enderveld from, I think, Holland or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, looking out of Roberts Island, coming up towards the overhead bridge, way ahead at the moment. Tim Reeves, Mark Wilkes pops that wheel up in the air. They're followed by Adam Unsworth and Bryce Rose. Bryce, first time swinging this season for Adam Unsworth after Stu Dawes has got work to do and got to get his shoulder operated on. And here's gelled real well with the team. Tracy Bryan doing the swinging for Barry Smith there on the 73 bike. Changed from Formula 2 to Formula 1 bike during the day, so they practiced early on, lost the practice session. Short bike earlier on, long bike later on, so they are, well, I wouldn't say they're struggling, but they're nowhere in contention at the moment for the, well, it's still third place, which is still a podium, to be fair. Oh, the battle is on there by Lambert, between Lambert and Spike Taylor, with Charlie Bilby doing the pasturing, and there is the little W, sideways through the Suzuki corner there. Graham Evans and Eamon Mulholland from Australia and Ireland. Australia for Graham Evans, Eamon Mulholland from Ireland. That's how he calls it. Tim Reeves, look at that, spectacular. They had a massive crash, I think, at the Southern 100 this year. It was a huge crash, but recovered from that out here on a Carl Cox Motorsport machine. Carl Cox Motorsport in first and third place. Spike Taylor's got ahead of Greg Lambert there, Neil Ritchie.
Yeah, great to watch indeed. And Spike, that was a brilliant move coming up on the inside. He saw the gap with Greg coming up there to break on the outside. Remember, of course, it is a 600 versus 1,000, so you can't expect that kind of overtaking to go on. But great early part of the race from Greg. Unfortunately, that 20-second penalty for the jump start, well picked up by co-commentator Spider Staples, but what that has allowed for is the fact that he slipped back. Remembering, they're getting F2 points here today, so they're not necessarily competing with every other. This whole class is actually split between F1 and F2. It's what the guys have done with the championship this year. So realising that you come to Whanganui and you've got a little bit of an advantage for an F2. It's not so much that the F2 engines, it's the F2 bikes, because they're much more manoeuvrable around here. Look at the size of that bike compared to this one that comes past, the number 8 here, or the 73, the overall points leader in the big bike class. So that's where the F1 and F2 gets it known. The other feature is, of course, that there is no more F1 sidecars in the world. The world has changed for the first year. Now has a 600cc limit, so it's joined the likes of the Isle of Man and those other British events that had previously had an F2 limit as well. So F1 sidecars are being phased out around the world. Let's hope we can keep them here in New Zealand for many years to come, because they are more spectacular and faster on our tracks anyway. So suited to our conditions, if not necessary to those around the world. Bring it on with F1 sidecars and our quality infield, brought to us by Collegiate Quality Inn on Liverpool Street, Whanganui.
There's a massive battle going on coming out of there. This is between 73 and 1. Barry Smith, Tracy Bryan, Spike Taylor, Charlie Bilby. They've been hammering it out all the way through. Both have run one races round here before, but right now, second place comes to the overbridge. Number 8, Am Unsworth and Bryce Rose here. This battle's going on, 73 versus 1. About 3 sidecar leaks between third and fourth. Down the front straight, Spike Taylor looking for a way through there. Closes up under brakes. Follows a red light on the 73 machine and not in time. Fifth place, Julie Caliper doing the swinging for Greg Lambert. I think there's a change of position, is there? No, there's not a change of position there between the letter D, Tony Baker, and Shelley Smithies there. And I think Eamon Mulholland, W. Yep, I'm a bit confused there, sorry folks. Let's have a look at the screen. 73 comes through the S's there. Still, they're getting away from Spike Taylor and Charlie Bilby on the number 1 machine. So last year's New Zealand champion, Spike Taylor, not doing the Nationals this year, unfortunately. Here comes Tim Reeves, Mark Wilkes going through the lap traffic there. We got 4 laps to go in the sidecar race. They're going through past Jim Bilby doing the swinging for Bruce Roberts there from Bolton on the little Formula 2 machine.
Well, if you check your program out, chair number 28, Dave Black and Craig Pedersen, that's finished the series. Unfortunately, not to carry on with some mechanical problems. What that's allowed is the fact that Craig Pedersen's put his hand up and said, well, I'm available to swing in the new letter K with Keys out there, Keys Anderville. He said, well, I need a swinger. So there you go, Craig Pedersen has moved off to number 28 up onto the letter K. So there it is. He's been swinging in 2 different sidecars over the Suzuki Series to date. So an all-round great guy, and Craig Pedersen, of course. Craig was here last year making a comeback in our sport after having had some major surgery. And here he is making his comeback in grand style, and not just 1 but 2 different sidecars this year, and a flying good ride on the letter K out there with Craig P up there on the DMR 600 as well, and his sponsor, My Own Hard Work. I love that. So letter K and Keith Vanderbilt and Kiwi swinger Craig Pedersen on board today.
All right, last lap there. Barry Smith and Tracy Bryan got it hugely sideways on the Suzuki corner. They've got the break they need from Spike Taylor and Charlie Bilby, but of course we're among lappers now. There's Tim Reeves going through the Suzuki corner. We got 2 laps to go. Tim Reeves and Mark Wilkes through the Suzuki corner, in through to the S's. We're looking out for second place. It is number 8, the Boss Engineering sponsored Honda powered machine, and that is Adam Unsworth and Bryce Rose, followed by 73 and number 1. We go back a little bit further, a couple of lappers there. Julie Lambert swinging for Greg. Julie Caliper, swinging for Greg Lambert. They're on their own at the moment. In behind them is Tony Baker and Shelley Smithers, a painter and decorator by day, a sidecar passenger by weekend. Absolutely extraordinary lady too.
So here we go, F1 sidecars courtesy of Collegiate Quality Inn, and it is letter T out in front. Number 8 to cruise for a second place ahead of 73, 76, just caught up in the lapping. So what about that though from Adam Unsworth? Not just once but twice he's been able to beat the 73 of who looked to be almost the unbeatable number 73 of Barry Smith. So, and Barry wanting to have that F2 sidecar ready for this event. I get the idea that although we might see him beat the likes of number 8 Adam Unsworth on the tracks like Taupo and Manfield Spider, here today on the circuit it's been Adam Unsworth that's had the upper hand.
Oh, of course, yeah, incredible riding, and Bryce has just rolled so well. We're looking out for a lap, a win there. We got a win there, sorry, checkered flag is coming out, no, sorry. Here we go, Tim Reeves and Mark Wilkes, the letter T, the 5 times World Formula 1 champion driving, 2 times Formula 1 2 champion there, waves his fist up, Mark there, pat on the back there, they take the win out. Here comes the Honda, number 8, Adam Unsworth and Bryce Rose there. Bryce will be a tired boy tonight, but I bet you he'll have a few beers. 73, Barry Smith, Tracy Bryan doing double duties. Tracy is on the classic there. There's number 1, and that is Spike Taylor with Charlie Bilby stepping in at the last moment. Greg Lambert and Julie Caliper, but remember they got a 20-second penalty, so that'll put them back down about 4 sidecars, I think. That is for a jump start.
And so followed by letter B of Tony and Baker and Shelley Smithies, and that too is a Formula 2 unit, so that's going to jump up past their placing spider, which is what you referred to. So just explaining, the 20-second penalty will go on those F2 times, won't be reflected in the F times, so it potentially drops them back a number of places.
All right, we're down in pit lane with Tim Reeves. Mate, have you thought about slowing down, or is this what you do back home in Britain?
No, I really enjoy riding my bike, and when I'm riding good, I go fast, and it's really nice to be here, and we've had such a warm welcome again from all the Kiwis and all the people, and the crowd's fantastic, and good job on them. Yeah, over the moon. For Mark to finish, it's more important. He never got to do a race here, did he, with his broken neck, and now we've done it. We've finished and won 2 races, so yeah, I'm pleased for him. And massive thanks to Carl Cox and Motorsport and Gavin Sokolic and all the boys that are here, and they've put on a real good show for us. Massive good job by Flea and his wife Julie and all the team and all the marshals and everyone. We couldn't do it without. And
you've put on a good show for us too.
Yeah, that's what it's about, mate. We're here for the show, and what a fantastic crowd from all to come out on Boxing Day after the weather looks so crap. And massive big up to the crowd and good job.
Well, we all appreciate you coming here. What about next year? This is your 3rd time?
Yeah, I can't imagine me having a winter in England now. If we get asked to come back, I'm sure we'll be coming. But I really enjoy it here, and we've had a fantastic time again, and what a good way to finish it off.
Oh, of course, and you're getting used to our New Zealand barbecues and Christmases and stuff and the heat.
Yeah, Mark. It's spot on. Like Tim said, I haven't had the best of luck the last couple of years. First year between Manfield and here, I busted myself, and and then last year 4 laps and the chassis busted itself. So yeah, this was it. So I'm absolutely over the moon. Just to finish it, it's just been my goal for since coming the first time. So.
Well done. Still get their entitled 2 rides, so nobody's missing out. It's just a slightly different order. And for these guys, I'm sure they're happier that the track's now at over 40 degrees when it was at over 30 degrees before, and the sun's out to shine, and there's no sign of any more rain to come. So the weather forecast only a fraction of what it had sadly forecasted, which is great news from our point of view. So there it is with our super lights coming up. Formula 3 class about to ignite our track. No Jason Easton in the end today. I was thought that Jason was a front runner. He was ended to ride, but those problems that he encountered at Manfield last week presumably were too great to rise above the challenge of getting him back out on the track today. But what we have seen, of course, has been the return of some of these great bikes that we've had over the years, and our riders to perform, like Gav Veltmeyer out there as well, like Nick Southerwood, and many others to front our lineup. So bring it on. No Ben Rosendale this year, but Ashley Payne, it's hopefully a clean start. We're going to look from Ashley that time, and can he get the run in front? Nathaniel Diprose and the 72 of local man Ashley Payne looking to be the hot shots with Ashley out there on the Tom Ditchfield panel beaters. Pirelli, Dave Dennison supported White Lock Suzuki GSXR 450. This Suzuki Former 600, 1 cylinder missing, drops it to the 450 category for this class. A lot of these bikes now available here in the country. Aussie Performance, of course, was the first one to do it. We've seen others follow suit, and it makes quite a good bike. Nathaniel, I talked to him, he was one that did have a very good F2 bike. He's turned it into an F3 bike. I said, why do you do it? He said, well, he just wanted to take away the fierceness of that F2 racing, and he's made a much better bike, and he feels much more comfortable on it. That's what it's all about. Here we go with the 72 doing it all again. Ashley Payne, 88, Nathaniel Diprose, and the super little electric out there. In spite of the concept, of course, that we don't have, is that all the other bikes around it are making noise, so it just seems like it's a bike making noise with the rest of them. When we have a whole field of electric bikes, maybe not in our time, but in the time of the future, maybe a whole different era of racing. But if they're going to be like that, how competitive is that?
Oh, I guess they are. I saw him fall a bit of a wheelie off the start line. It's a shame they didn't finish that last race because he got the whole shot there. But Yoshi Kishimoto, his 4th visit to the cemetery circuit. He has a 2nd and a 3rd place in Formula 3 before. He knows his way around the place. They called him Crashimoto the first time he came out because he just about crashed on every corner. Never done street circuit. That was Leighton Manel, the promoter that brought him out originally or helped him get out here, but he certainly learned his way around the street circuit. But right now Ashley Payne shows the Whanganui dominance of some of the class people today, and he's got about a 1.2 second lead. Steve Bridge has gone through there into 3rd place. Yoshi Kishimoto has been pushed down to 5th place. I think there's Jacob Stroud going up on the inside in turn 1 into 3rd place. That's ahead of Steve Bridge. So right now out in the front it is 72 Ashley Payne. Nathaniel Diprose there in 2nd place as we look at him down that back straight. And looking out for 3rd place, sorry, I just lost my place there. 1st place goes through the Suzuki S is there, number 72. Then 88, and then Steve Bridge, but who's come back on him? Jacob Stroud. They swapped positions. Jacob Stroud went off the front straight there, got ahead of Steve Bridge. It changed, but they changed back over at the Suzuki S is here for the final Formula 3 race of the Suzuki Series 2017. Big thanks for Suzuki for your support here at the cemetery circuit.
Jacob Stroud, proudly sponsored by Mike Perro Real Estate, Kramer NZ, MTF, Shoesy and Hallicraft as he goes racing. So let's keen to watch him. There it is, look at that. Going out front, it's a beautifully presented bike. Do check it out, pit side. That's the future of racing as well, with that big KTM engine inside it there. So eligible for F3 racing, so it's effectively, you'd say, a homologated frame and chassis, but then a different engine inside it. This time the KTM 690, similar machine, similar engine to what Richard Markham Barrett is using as well. And you'll watch a few more of these bikes coming of age. I had the opportunity to ride one of the production KTM 690 not last year, 2 years ago in the Whanganui Motorcycle Club Centenary ride. And a fantastic little bike they were, and thoroughly enjoyable, and I can see why you want to put it inside a racing frame and give it a bit of high performance and turn it into a racing motorcycle like this. So a huge amount of fun for young Jacob Stroud out there. But go Whanganui! 72 with the colour code bike out there of Ashley Payne, chased along by Auckland's number 88 Nathaniel Diprose on the AGV RST Pirelli EBC Moto TT Auckland Motorcycle Club supported bike. Then we look back to our 4th place at this stage, and the battle on there with Jacob Stroud and Steve Bridge. Go to Kishimoto, Yoshi Kishimoto, and they're ahead of Gav Veltmeyer, Richard Markham Barrett in there as well. But going to Yoshi Kishimoto, as Maida's talking about, is a lot of previous experience here. There's been a bit of a language breakdown, but I tell you what, he must be getting a better English all the time. But more importantly, having brought this bike over, this is a major coup for us in New Zealand, something of the future, something our children, our grandchildren will just take for granted in years to come. And as we know, at the Isle of Man with Bruce Anstey and Guy Martin, they've been riders of these kind of motorcycles, a bit bigger than this one, but you get the idea. The bikes of the future, the electric bike, the first one ever here in New Zealand, and being raced at the Cemetery Circuit today. Bring it on, the future with Suzuki.
Fastest lap for Ashley Payne, 52.351, 52.351, and the lap record is still set from 2009. And that is Terry Fitzgerald, the late Terry Fitzgerald, 52.089. So I guess the wind's playing a part in that at the moment. Ashley Payne also controlling the race out in the front there. He goes through the Suzuki S's, looking out for second place. Nathaniel Diprose there, got a bit of a break, 88. Now, who was out that run overrun the first corner?
Yeah.
I didn't quite catch him, but Jacob Stroud still is in third place. In fourth, passing a lapper there is 294 Steve Bridge. Yoshi Kishimoto there, back in, I think, fifth place. Neil Ritchie.
Yes, it is Yoshi Kishimoto. We can confirm that. So it was none of those top five, Spider, that had overshot. I just saw it as well and saw that's a right angle to go, or a wrong angle to go in, because it was at right angles to go in, realising there was somebody that's overshot down here along the TSS Red Baron Motorcycle Suzuki Start Straight, and that's why they've got a safety zone of another 100 odd metres down Bridgeway Street, as it's called, on the other 364 days of the year, and they can go on through there and hit the brakes and do a U-turn and come back in and rejoin the track, and that's what one of them was able to do, and more importantly do so safely. So it's not as if there is a brick wall at the end of the street. That runoff is very good, and a lot of riders have used it to positive success today and in the years gone by as well. So great to see, but a very good top five as we light up these streets of Whanganui here today. Ashley Payne, Nathaniel Diprose, Jacob Stroud, along with Steve Bridge and Yoshi Kishimoto on this little electric bike. Try and listen when it goes past, because it does make some noise, but it's almost the sound of the tyres going on the tar seal, which make more noise than anything else. Here we go, 72, race leader. There he goes, Ashley Payne out there. Back to 88, Nathaniel Diprose. White flag is out in the update. 88 running in second place. Both of those bikes were originally 600s, now 450s. West 3 racing. Then to the 10 of Jacob Stroud. Now to the 294 of Steve Bridge. And it should be Yoshi. Here it comes as it lines up at the top. Look at the size of it as well. He leans right off the side. He's got the big Speed Junkie iTools bike right behind him there of Richard Markham Barrett. That's the 490 KTM, but you can't even hear the other one go past. Spider, a change?
There was a change of position going up there. Richard Markham Barrett went up on the inside, but that's what position. It sounds like the shaver you used to trim your head there, Neil Ritchie.
You've been watching too much of that. Certainly, no. In fact, I've got an electric one. I think it would make more noise. It would make more noise going through my scruff and rubble than that bike's going to make as well.
There is Ashley Payne. 2 wins out of 2 today on the 72 machine. Nathaniel Diprose there. Struggles on the overhead bridge. His front end's pushing hard. He goes down there, taking an exceptional second place. Third place, Jacob Stroud, son of the 9-time New Zealand Superbike champion. There is Steve Bridge on the 294 machine. Chance Oliver Stevenson from the Wairarapa there on her first visit. The cemetery circuit goes through there. And the Speed Junkie bike's got through the Yoshi Kishimoto there, Neil Ritchie.
Oh, look at that from Yoshi. Now, what about a contrast? Let's have a look at some of those riders. So here's Jacob Stroud. First street race, or first Whanganui street race. The Whanganui Cemetery Circuit. First of many, I'm sure, for young Jacob Stroud. So he's in that field. What about Steve Bridge? Long time out of the sport. One of my all-time heroes of street racing in New Zealand. He's there on
field with 2 strokes, 4 strokes, V-twins, singles, 3 cylinders. It's just amazing. We're going over to Terry Stevenson.
Ashley Payne, what a great win.
Yeah, it was pretty good. It's good to get Nathaniel on the first lap, and I managed to, sort of ride my own race, which makes it a little bit easier rather than having a battle with someone. So it was good to get that early on and put your head down.
Did you know he was behind you? Did you keep that gap the same?
I just looked ahead. I didn't bother looking back. No time for that.
Yeah, particularly after the first race, you had a bit of jump start, didn't you?
Yeah, I may have cocked that one up.
Yeah, so look, you've been on this for a while. Are there any plans in the future for a bigger bike or any change of class?
Yeah, next year maybe might go back up to 600s or something like that, see what the future pans out, but I'd really like to get back up in the premier classes.
Yep, because you won a Formula 2 race in the wet here about 3 or 4 years ago?
Yeah, might have been 5, getting pretty old now, but yeah.
What's your English like? This is tough for me because I'm not sure if you can speak much English.
This race, course is very difficult. I'm first electric bike challenge. So difficult course and bumpy and acceleration. Very torqueful, but bumpy, not much. Very difficult, but very fun.
Look, this electric bike's got good pull out of the corners. I could see it here, you know. But you had guys chasing you down too.
Very near chase. More just I want to push, but setting very difficult vibration.
Okay, Yoshi, you got in the last race. At the start, you got the whole shot. That must be the first whole shot in New Zealand for an electric bike.
Yeah. Very thank you for New Zealand people. Thank you very much.
This is your 4th visit to New Zealand. Are you going to come back?
Yes, I come back and electric bike #1 position.
This is great. It's good to have you here. It's great to see an electric bike. We just can't hear it, but you're riding it superbly. Okay, thank you, Yoshi.
Rightio, well, it's not even 4 o'clock and we've got the final race today. Don't forget, people, prize giving tonight. The Jet Sprint's on in Whanganui tomorrow. And what an awesome day, mate. I really expected 10 mil an hour of rain. That's what the weather people told us. But right now we've got Tracy Bryan doing the swinging for her brother Brian Stent on pole position there on the 351 machine. I think John Blamires is back out there. Looks like John Blamires and Charlie Bilby back out there in second place. And Robert Hood and Mark Thompson there in third. The last race of the day here at the Cemetery Circuits. Classic Sidecar's been around, I think. The Classic Sidecar's been around since 1952, but they weren't classics then, they were current. In 2002, when they had the 50th, the anniversary of the Cemetery Circuit, they brought out a classic racing sidecar, you know, for past masters. This was so successful, the crowd loved it so much, they brought it back, and it has stayed ever since. In a good field today. Still a couple of bikes missing there. We've had a couple of breakages earlier on in the day, but right now we've got about 7 laps to go to the end of the day. Prize giving on at the Racecourse Lounge tonight. I think that'll start about 6 or so. The bar will be open, there are meals available, and of course the town's going to rock. And then I'm going to the Jet Sprints tomorrow, off to Nelson Road Races in about a week there, and then down to the New Zealand Superbike Championships. That'll be 7 bike races in 7 weekends for me. Just almost addicted. It was 570 bikes to identify in the first 2 meetings, 370 down at Timaru, so it's just been addictive all the way too. And don't forget the Pukekohe Classics and of course Pyra Street Racing. Their Burt Munro Challenge in early February, all the way in Invercargill. They've moved it from November. Right now, looking over to the Suzuki corner there. Suzuki S's, the Suzuki Crossing, they call it. There's all sorts of names, and we have 351. Tracy Bryan, brother and sister. Tracy doing the swinging for Brian Stent. Father built the bike. I've said that before. I'll say it again. Outstanding. I remember he was probably my all-time hero of sidecars and overall at the Cemetery Circuit, watching him in 1977. He was pastoring for Tony Cave. They went down the front straight after winning. He was just sitting there clapping his hands. I thought, I want to be like you one day. I don't want the moustache you've got, but, well, no offence, Roger. But I really want to be like him one day. Won 9 out of my 10 last races here at the Cemetery Circuit. Right now, are we going to get lap record? Are we going to get this 242 machine hunting down that BMW? I saw one of the most spectacular moves in the practice this morning when the boys were out there dicing each other, and Brian Stent chucked his bike up after the Suzuki S's in before the main S's there and went sideways through the S's. He needed to get a good qualifying time, wanted to be on pole position. He had the ability. They are lap record holders, not on one bike but 2. The program lists them on being on a Triumph, but last year they broke the lap record, their own lap record, on this same machine, the BMW. So what do we got? We're into the 59s. We're into the 59s. The lap record is, got to have a look out there, Post-Classic Sidecars, it's in the low 59s. It says 59.905, but we're actually running around at a 59.439. So do you have that lap record page, Neil Ritchie? I've got one in my pocket. I'm just going to pull that out and see what I can see. So we may be seeing another lap record here at the Cemetery Circuit. Going through the pockets, here we go. The Blamire Bilby bike comes over the overbridge there. The Flying Motor Guzzy pulled out early on in the last race, but back in action now. Robert Hood and Mark Thompson there in third place. Earlier on it was Mark Smith and Darren Prentice there, but they've changed positions there. We go back into, I think, fifth place, and that looks to me like it is Peter Dowman on the 250 machine with Brian Greenlee's another Whanganui combination there. There we go. I'm looking out for the lap records. So the lap record is for Post Classic Sidecars, a 59.033. Will we go into the 58s? We've got a 59.439. No, we won't go in there because they've slowed by about 0.6 of a second. What happens is Tracy looks over her shoulder and said, we've done enough. We're going to control this race. That's the advantage of having a passenger there. No one else is getting any pit signals, I'm pretty sure, today. She looks over her shoulder and just occasionally Brian looks over to her and she gives them the right nod and says, right, we're up enough. So close to lap record, but no cigar today. 4 laps to go for the final of the final race of the Cemetery Circuit. The battle's on between third and fourth. The 850 Northern Commando with the 555 Triumph there. Whanganui versus Masterton and New Plymouth. Mark Smith, an ex-Marlborough Series New Zealand champion at the level way back in the 70s and early 80s. He come back to the 50th just for a bit of a parade and got addicted to this. And long-time passenger Sid Sutherland retired a couple of years ago and they hooked in Darren Prentice. They had a massive crash here too through the S's. Broken collarbone, broken shoulder blades and ribs last year. Come back and we're out racing about 5 weeks later at the Pukekohe Classics. Darren Prentice has also done the Isle of Man a few times as well, so that battle's going into the S's at the moment. There's about 3 sidecar leaks. This is the battle for third and fourth here at the Cemetery Circuit. Here comes Mark Smith, trying up in the inside of Roberts Island. They almost touch there, and it's closed up the gap, but the Norton drives out of that corner there as we hear the BMW come down the start-finish line, and we've got, 3 laps to go. So second place, John Blameyers and Charles Bilby there. Third place, fourth place. 6 bike links, but 6 sidecar leads as they go over the overbridge. The passenger looks behind, not once but twice on the 850 machine. That is Mark Thompson. He's keeping an eye on. He's probably got some sort of signals where he pats him and says, get your A into G, and we need a little bit more there. But of course, we've got about 3 laps to go. There's Peter Dowman and Brian Greenlee, 244. Bruce Roberts and Jim Bilby, 241. Now, who the hell's 241? Sorry, folks. Artie Roberts and Artie Roberts, that's Michael Dowman. And Michael Dowman. So Artie Roberts is Bruce's son. Wow, it's like a squash club. 222, that beautiful bike of Brian Sargent, the BMW, ahead of 457, and that interesting 551 machine, the Coventry Climax. Fire engine, pump motor, believe it or not, but that was one of the dominant forces in the late 60s and early 70s in sidecar racing. 2 laps to go. Brian Stent, Tracy Bryan. What are they doing now? They're running around the 102s. They're about 3 seconds slower than they were early on the race. They've got about a 5-second buffer there. In fact, it's 6.5 seconds between first and second. Looking out for that race between third and fourth. That's right, opened up to about 100 metres. Sounds like that Triumph's misfiring. That's a bit of a disappointment towards the end of the day. So beautiful bright bike there. That is going into turn 1 here at the Cemetery Circuit for the last race of the 2017 Suzuki Series. 244, Bruce Roberts, Jim Bilby. I hate to think how old Jim Bilby is. Nowadays, the candles on his cake are worth more than the cake he's got that many. I think he's about 67 or something like that. Absolutely impressive. 241, Artie Roberts goes through there with Mr. Dowman on the side, and we're looking out for the battle between the BMWs. This is quite an impressive battle for 222. Les Sargent there, front exit sidecar and front exit passenger. This means the sidecar passenger gets out in front of the wheel. Watch them through the S's. It's amazing. They're out behind the back wheel going through the right-hander, then they've got to get forward a metre, or 3'6" for a classic sidecar, in front of the sidecar wheel and out the side, whereas the other guys are still out swinging rear exit swinging. That means just a flip-flop from right to left. So, wow, that guy's incredible. White flag is out. We're looking for the final lap. We are on the final lap, and it is 351. Tracy Bryan, brother and sister, doing the swinging for Brian Stent there. They've gone through, I think, the S's. In fact, I think they're going... No. Well, where are they? Yes, they... Yeah, here we go. They're weaving through between the 2 sets of S's, the Suzuki Crossing and the main set of S's. Here comes some spinning. We won't worry about that. We've only got about half a minute of the main crew to come through here for the final lap. Neil Ritchie.
Yeah, great to see what a finale we're in for. Classic Sidecars courtesy of Ignition Motor Group at home with Holden and Kia right here in the River City, Whanganui, as we look out. What a classic way to finish our day with Classic Sidecars. Sidecars at Whanganui. You combine these two groups today, I would suggest. Never had as great a series of Sidecars for all the time as we close it all down. There's the Coventry Climax. We're going to get around the outside of Darren Partner and Lynn Herring there. Oh, look at that. Oh, it's putting it hand out. Trying to wave it on as well. Should be something special.
But what happened there in the front? We saw a hell of a big lead there. All of a sudden, there was about 3 sidecar lengths between first and second. I get the picture that happened amongst lappers somewhere along the line, but the last lap for Brian and Stent was a 108 with a 103.
0.5 of a second. Half a second in the end's all it came down to, Spider.
Well, a 103 is John Blameyer's and Charles Bilby's time, and a 108, so they were 5 seconds slower in that last lap. That's all about lappers, I'm sure, because they needed that win, but they got the win. 2 sidecar wins today for them, and of course she's got the first of the Formula 1 bikes, second in Formula 1, sorry, on the big bikes.
Yeah, second. First for the Suzuki Series, but second today behind
Adam Unsworth and Bryce Rose.
Yes,
sorry, get a bit confused at the end of the day.
All right, Spider, is there any recognition from the Sidecar Association for the fact of the bikes like the 222, Les and Sam, which are a conventional motorcycle with a sidecar on, as compared to a made-up frame with an engine and as a sidecar? Because the efforts of those, we go back to the Mickelson clan, for example, and what we saw, and
I'm not sure what they're doing towards internal trophies and that, but you've definitely got the pre-72 and then the pre-62 class, but I'm not sure what they're doing there. I think we're going to go over to Terry Stevenson. Thank you, folks, for a wonderful day of my 52nd year here. I'll be here for the next 52 years, probably planted in that cemetery for some of them.
Thank you, Spike. You're one of the most successful sidecar passengers here in Whanganui, I believe, but here we have Tracy, and she's the most successful lady here today.
Thank you. Yeah, it's been a bit of a long day. That one was a bit hairy, the battery came loose, so I was trying to hold on with my foot. Hold on with my foot or my hand or whatever I could, so got a bit messy those last few laps, but hey, Brian rode well, so happy for the win.
Brian, you wouldn't catch any of my sisters on the back of my bike, let alone on the side of a sidecar.
Oh, she's pretty trusting. Try not to do too much. Just tell her to sit there and hold on and shut up, and it's all good.
If anybody's not sure, Tracy was on Barry Smith's sidecar that won this series sidecar.
Yeah, she's done a brilliant job. Big day, hard work to hang on to an F1 bike around here, let alone trying to sit on the side of this afterwards.
It's great that you bring us around every year and we get to look at these things. The riding's fantastic to see. We enjoy it.
Oh, thanks very much for having us. It's been here for years, and hopefully for years to come we can put on a spectacle.
Tracy, last word of the day.
Really just thanks to our dad, who obviously built this car, and to Carl Cox, who's backed us on this, and on the F1 and the F2 guys that won, so you were pretty lucky.
All right, thank you very much. Last winners of the day, and thanks for coming along, everybody. That's fantastic.
Thank you indeed to Terry Stevenson calling our results down there. Thank you, Terry, doing an absolutely fantastic job. The man's passionate about him. You can more details at terry.stevenson.net.